What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming out. Stan from Sea of Serpents over here. We're gonna have a good show tonight. We had a couple special good guests on, some friends, and so without further ado, let's kind of get into it. I'm running a few minutes late, so I apologize, everybody. And I'll step in the chat here in just a second. So let's pull one of them up here now, if you guys don't mind. Everybody, welcome to the building. Miss Lady Tiz, Nicole.
Oh,
Hey, Nicole, thank you for coming
hi.
out. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Stan.
How's everything going with you and Slim?
Amazing.
Good, good, good. You're looking good, by the way. I know I told you backstage, but I know everybody else could see it. So if you guys in the chat don't see it, you know you're lying.
Right.
Let's
Look,
bring
I
out this.
said when KG saw it, then you know it was true.
Hey, you know KG ain't gonna lie. KG
Right.
don't hold no punches. You know how he is. He's gonna tell it like it is. He might hurt some feelings, but he's gonna say it how it is.
Right.
So let's bring out this next guest, if you guys don't mind here. Everybody, welcome in Tim from Intrepid Exotics. Hey Tim, how's it going, man? How you doing tonight?
Outstanding, man. I couldn't be any better if I wanted to.
Thank you for coming out, man. I appreciate it. And as everybody else can see, if anybody follows Tim, you can see that Tim obviously is shedded a few pounds over there and looking good too. Now, I don't know if he's shedding pounds on purpose or if the big snakes are putting work out to him, but
I've done it on purpose so that I can handle the snakes.
hey, that's definitely not a bad thing.
40 pounds since last summer, man. Another 20 to go. I'll be back to my army weight.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats to both of you. You both are looking good.
Thank you.
Let's pull out this character over here without further ado. Everybody knows who started this one up. Without this guy, he's the one that started it all up. Oh, Ken.
Looking like
LMK.
What up, guys?
Guitar man. How's it doing, man?
I wanted to look like a rock star since all the guitars are behind me, so I did my rock star look for you guys to kind of match the surroundings.
Oh, well, you got to get a tattoo or a couple on your face and make it look good. You want
maybe I'll get one of them temporary ones one night.
Hey, whatever works. I'm not saying get
I
a real
ain't
one.
tatting up my face. I ain't tatting up
You can
my
let
face.
your daughter get out the Sharpie marker. You know, that'll look good too. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless someone wants to send me like some kind of banger mail, I'll get their tattoo, like their company logo. Like I'm talking
Careful
like,
what you say.
10,000 or yeah, well, I'm just saying 10,000 or above snake. I'll get your name tattooed right here on my cheek, left or right, whichever one. Cheek up here, face, not no butt cheek. I got to clarify here with these people. I got to clarify. Better pause. Get the next person. Like I already. I'm done. Time out.
Without further ado, let's pull out this guy over here. Everybody out there might know him as Mr. Pause or the Dead Man. What's going on, brother Vance?
What's going on,
tonight,
Dan?
my guy? How you been, bro?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Nice. Good, man. Good. You know, do you know Nicole and Tim?
Yeah, Nicole and Tim. I know who he is.
Okay. Well, if you ain't follow him, you better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I'm gonna check your page and make sure you are.
Dude, you can't see it well, but you've all got to go check out this Lindworm's exotic shirt I got in today. I mean, this thing is fire. Like, go check it out. I guess they're doing a limited edition. But this thing is like to the detail, to the max. Like, go check it out.
Want something fancy.
They're fancy. I mean, I can't show you the back.
Over here.
I can't.
Ken over there double dipping.
Double dipping, mofo.
You can keep talking. I'll keep shouting out here.
I like double dipping sometimes.
Hey, Shauna, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
But it ain't slacking on the back either, and that's all I had.
Oh, we know he ain't slacking on the back. Larry ain't slacking on those shirts.
He ain't slacking nowhere on this thing. It's everywhere.
Who else we got up here? Oh, Jay Slither's always in the building. Thanks for coming out, bro. Appreciate you. Rob's never slacking. He's always out here. You know that. Thanks for coming out, Rob. Got my son up in here. What's up, Devin? Good to see you coming out, buddy.
What's up, Devin?
What up, dude?
Glad you're not in Betty Bye yet. He was hitting me up earlier. We were chit-chatting.
Nice.
Hey, look, we even had Tim up in here double dipping.
He's double dipping too. I'm not the only double dipper.
Hey, Panther, thanks for coming out. How's it going? New to the building. Is that a friend of Tim? Is that a friend of yours, Tim?
Yeah. Well, the video that I put out right before we came on here, I told him about this and threw the link up for it. So we tried to get
Nice.
a couple people over.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate that,
Yeah,
Panther.
we got a couple folks out here from earlier.
Oh,
Right on.
Tommy. What's up, Tommy? Thanks for coming out, buddy.
What
What's
up,
up,
dude?
Tom?
I'm just kind of skipping over a couple of these names here.
Can't leave anyone out.
Benny.
Oh, daddy.
No, I'm just saying people that were chit-chatting in the chat.
Right. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I know you always do.
I seen some not blues, but I didn't
See,
want to mention
yep,
it.
I knew you. I knew you was about to say that. As soon as I grabbed my phone, I knew you was gonna say that. Well, I'm telling you.
I mean, I can
You're
help
lucky
you
you're all
out.
the way in PA, or else, boy.
I can help you out and tell you who, but
Morphs-R.W.O, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. You guys had a good show last night.
Yeah,
That was
I
pretty
missed
good.
that. I got to get in the rhythm of their show. I missed it.
Well,
Totally
you
didn't
better
remember.
start. You got to do what I do sometimes. You got to write down all these times and days and people.
I
and,
need to.
It's a lot.
Man, you ain't kidding. More and more every day now.
Yeah, it was a good show. I'll
Ken's
be
up
on
in
there
here
next
the
week, in
most.
fact.
I'm talkative.
Hey, Melinda, thanks for stopping by.
Hello, Cutter Time.
Hey, Melinda.
Oh, Devin. Speaking of, we got Linwood right here. What's up, Larry? Thanks for coming out, bub. Appreciate it.
Excellent
Oh,
shirt,
Larry.
dude.
Hey.
Excellent
Look
shirt.
it, we even had Nicole up in here double
Yeah.
dipping too. Come on.
Everybody double dipping tonight.
Yeah. George, thanks for stopping by.
No, George.
Hi, George.
That looks like a Tim
Blakers,
guy.
everybody knows Blakers. Blakers is everywhere, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming out.
Blakers.
Appreciate it.
He's my cool mofo this week.
Oh,
Better
was he?
than
He,
Blakers.
he won it, huh?
Yeah, he edged him out. He got it finally.
Yeah,
Somebody
I got them all
took Jay
fired
Slithers
up.
down.
That's what happened. I got them all fired up, and then they all started coming for me. They're like, "You had that thing like 4 or 5 weeks." And they're like, "No more." Elias, thanks for coming
What up,
out.
Elias?
Appreciate it.
What's up, Elias?
Yeah, he was shouting it out in the chat earlier. So, all right. So I caught up with the chat and everybody that's in here. So, what I kind of want to talk about out there in the chat and everybody is we're going to talk a little education. I'm not super experienced in it. I know Tim does a lot of educational stuff. Nicole does a lot of educational stuff. So that's why I wanted to bring them out.
Nice.
I've been following Nicole for, I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I also followed Tim, and so when I talked to Nicole and asked Nicole about doing some educational talk, she was 100% in. And then when I said to her about bringing Tim on, she was 125% in. She said yes. And she told me how her and Tim kind of met, and so that was a good thing. And so without further ado, we'll let Nicole kind of get into it. If you want to tell them who you are, Nicole, that's fine. I know most of the people in chat already know, but for the people out there that don't, we'll go ahead and take over, and we'll let you.
Who does it at this point?
Yeah.
I'm Cole. I am the owner of Lady Tits Exotics. Before that, before I became a breeder, I kept reptiles. I have been a physical reptile keeper. And I say physical, I mean hands-on reptile keeper for over 35 years, mainly ball pythons and lizards prior to 2016, 17. What year we in now? No, 2018 is when I got
We're
my
at 24.
reticulated python. I had to think about it. Look, y'all, when you don't work anymore, you are not conscious of times, years, dates, and stuff like that. None of that is important. You just want to make it to the next day and you be alive. So I started with the larger pythons. I had boa constrictors years ago, but the larger pythons in 2018. And my goal was to not just keep them, but to work with them in a way to have experiences with them that people said that you couldn't have. So I want to segue into how I met Tim. Before Tim, before I found Tim, before I ever saw Tim, before he ever, because he recognized me, and I want to talk about that, and I want to acknowledge that for two reasons, because I understand you're going to understand why. The first thing when I met Tim was nobody else on social media at that time when I was doing social media was showing reticulated pythons or Burmese pythons in a good light. Everything was animals that were treacherous. They were going to kill you. You want to die and all of that. I stumbled across Tim. I think we stumbled across each other. Tim had just started his YouTube. I probably was on YouTube probably like a year at that time. And I never forget when Tim reached out to me, I knew who he was because I had just literally saw his channel and it reminded me of National Geographic. I don't know if you remember me saying that to you, Tim. I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of National Geographic. But he was new to YouTube, but you can tell he was very knowledgeable. And so at that particular point, and this is honest, like there's no other man I follow from a handling perspective but Tim. And that's period. Like there's no other person on YouTube that I follow from a handling perspective. There are people I might tap into from a breeding perspective, but from a handling perspective and from a perspective of these animals can think, these animals can show signs of, you can call it affection if you want to. Mine show affection, very much so. I don't care what nobody say. Tim was the only person who was out there, and he was the first man who ever gave me my props. So Tim, thank you, because you was the first man who verbalized to me outside of my circle, what you're doing is amazing, and I appreciate you for that.
Because it is.
Right. Agreed.
I mean, you know, a big thing on that is, you know, breaking the stereotype around these big snakes like that. And it's not just a gender or a race stereotype. It's the
Right.
You know, you see so many of these guys, you know, they're big and buff and they're running around with their snakes and they're, you know, they got an 18-foot retic and they're like, man, look at me. I'm so tough. You can't do this.
Right.
Well, it don't work like that because you take 100-pound, you know, little slight female, and if she knows what she's doing, she can handle a 20-foot snake, you know. And
it definitely takes skill. And I tell it all the time. That's why I tell people that don't think I'm haphazardly holding this animal. I know every movement I have to do with my body to stand in front of you with this big snake. And if you notice, I won't hold it all the same. All of them have a different handling technique because some of them, like I have my biggest one, he's the easiest to handle because he flows with me. I can do things that make him do what I need him to do. Then there's that cow who she's stubborn. If I want to be in this position, I'm going to stay in this position. You're going to have to figure out a way to get me out of this position. And so I handle them differently. But also going back to Tim, and I'm a big Tim fan. So if I keep going back to Tim, forgive me. I'm not a fan of a lot of people, but I am a big Tim fan. The experience I don't have that Tim has that absolutely blows my mind is that Tim has taken in larger constrictors who are out of this world ornery and make them exactly what everybody say they can't be. So I know I can do it with my animals that I raise up. No question. What's impressive is that I watched Tim taking these animals from other people, animals he had not been around, animals who are clearly defensive, and put the same work in and show it that it's still possible. Tim, I'm getting emotional right now because if it's not for people like Tim, we won't have these animals. So Tim, never stop. We won't stop. But I'm telling you, you definitely never stop. Because the other thing that I like that you do that I don't have the patience for is you address some of the cattiness in our community that keeps us from coming together to show that these animals do not have to be posed as a threat in legislation. The animals I own, y'all, and I get emotional, are sweeter than the ball pythons that y'all breed. And I've proven that over and over again. I get struck at by baby ball pythons and never get struck at by these 15, 16-foot animals. And it breaks my heart that people constantly want to show them as these vicious things. They're not. Instead, you know, I say that all the time.
Yeah, because a lot of it goes back to movies and people see it, or, you know, unfortunately, Grandpa used to say, "Go get the shovel." So a lot of it has just been scared into people. So you obviously know Michaela. Michaela has her friend now, Macy. They're in it together. Macy has snakes, but is definitely afraid of holding them. So her boyfriend does most of it. So I went over there maybe like a month or so ago, 2 months ago. They got a snake in, and I happened to show up just at the right time. And they're like, "Oh man, we got an unboxing." And I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, I'll help you guys video." And they're like, "No, we want you to take it out." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, what's the issue?" And she's like, "Well, I'm afraid of snakes." And I was like, "Well, why would you be afraid of it?" I was like, "It's the snake honestly is more afraid of you than you are of it."
Right.
Right.
So I took it out of the bag. I said, "Come here for a minute." Now, mind you, her friend is only maybe 100 pounds, 110 pounds. She's a tiny little girl, you know? I mean, so she comes over. I was like, "Just put your, just hold your hands out like this." So she holds her hands out and she's like, and I'm like, "Why are you shaking so much?" And I look and she's starting to sweat. And I'm like, "It'll be fine. I'll keep the snake's head totally away from you. You just hold it. And if you feel like you don't want to hold it, I'll take it back." So she wound up holding it. We took pictures with her. She had a smile on her face. And from that point on, I think she's kind of now more starting to handle them because nobody like gave her that confidence to actually hold it. Or maybe she just didn't have the confidence in herself and always thought that it was going to turn on her.
Right.
But
Right.
and it's not. And I think a lot of it, like I said, is a movie thing that everybody thinks that these big snakes are the danger. And they're just like any other snake in the wild. They're going to run away from you, not run at you. They
Right.
they see you coming. They're usually out. They're not going to sit there and go, "I'm over here. Anybody want to see me?"
And
I
like
mean,
Tim said, and Tim, I know he'll tap on that. A lot of it is too. It's not just the movies. It's that I feel that there's a lot of people who have kept these animals for years in ways that they didn't realize that the animal had the ability to be better, but they want to stick in that mindset because they never experienced what me and Tim get to experience. That's a big problem because when you have veterans who wants to tell people you never can own this animal will never be able to be handled by one person. That's another thing that is technically you don't want to be handled a 15-footer by one, but you can. I do. Sometimes I have to. Tim has to. You have to be smart doing it. But I would love for Tim to chime in right here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
and take a breath, Nicole. Take a sip of your drink.
It's all of the legislation just got me just so upset.
Yeah, well, I mean,
U.S. ARC has been stomping a lot of it out, so that's a good thing.
5 of them.
Yes,
including Florida. Florida got squashed too. I seen that. I knew 100% Florida was going to pass, and it was going to ban all the iguanas down there.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Daniel comes on Instagram, and he's like, "Guess what? We won."
Yep.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
From
exactly.
what I've been listening to, and watching on here, watching lives on IG, going to local shows. This new commissioner that they have here in Florida now has really, really been working with U.S. ARC Florida. So there's been a lot of change in that building, and I think it kind of needed that overhaul. And they need a little more teaching if that's what they're going to do. They need to know what the species are before they just start rolling up on somebody's property.
Especially if they're going to euthanize them. Like
it's not even about. First of all, that should never even be a thing. Like they should never be euthanizing an animal. That's my personal opinion. They should be. If that's the case, and you have one, then you should do it the right way. Take it to the vet and let the vet do it.
There's enough people doing this in the world, though. I mean, they don't know a snake guy that they could take this aggressive snake to.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
100%. I'm sure of it.
Anything that they catch, they could find a home for within 24 hours, even.
That's my thing. Right. So in 2021, right before they passed that law in July, that's where my burn come from. Now tell that story. Breeder was licensed to catch it. He shipped it over here to a breeder in Virginia. I was able to go pick up my burn. If you don't want them there, that's to me the best thing that you can do. That Burmese python I have, best animals I have in my collection. This wild baby who was born in the wild, who I raised up, who never struck at me.
Awesome. That's crazy.
The
That's
best
awesome.
animal ever. And all I say to him all the time, we saved at least one. But there's so many of us. Like, I know we all have goals. I know, like, Tim, I don't know how big yours, but mine is to one day to have a facility where we can just educate openly about these larger constrictors, right? Now, the one thing I don't want to discredit is the fact that they are large animals. They can be very powerful animals. If you are disrespectful, they will show you that they are powerful animals. But most of us who keep these animals we know that we're not going to be disrespectful to them. In fact, you can't coexist with a retic that you don't respect. I don't even think that you can engage with them. If the lack of respect is there, that's where the defensiveness is on both sides. I think where we find the common ground is, and Tim, I definitely think you should talk more about this, is when you get those animals that don't know you, that the last owner said this animal is a wildebeest, it's hard to deal with. And then you come in and take the time and effort. Talk a little bit about like that, how it is with those animals from that perspective, because that I can't give y'all that.
Right.
Tim can.
It's a huge difference. I actually, in the video that I put out today, I had one of my viewers was having problems with a 13-foot female. He'd had her about a month, and the person that he had gotten that snake from got so afraid of it that he wouldn't handle it unless he fed it first and kept its mouth occupied. And then, so that's where the snake came from. And then it came to this guy who owns another retic who is a puppy dog. And he doesn't have any problems with him. And apparently he had a bad experience with this particular snake at one point. And you can see it in the video where he immediately goes up, and there's a lot of stuff wrong with it. But one of the things that I go into too is, helping people instead of ripping them in pieces. We know there's issues with this. We know there's issues with the enclosure. We know there's all this other stuff. But if people come to us for help, wanting to do better, we're nice to them and we help them and we get them better.
We should.
Yeah. So, and that's how we approach this whole thing. But you can keep retics for 20 years. And if you raise them all and they're all well behaved, they're the easiest animals in the world to keep. That being said, I've worked with some like 16, 18 footers that were fights. I mean, I was literally fighting this freaking animal because they were so terrified of people. And it's so easy, even when I was even in the midst of working with all of them, if I took a bite, my asshole was puckered up for the rest of the day.
Right.
Every time I'd open up an enclosure, man, I'm like, oh man.
I get that.
Don't do this again.
Sure.
But
not again.
So I mean, and it's really hard for people then when they're not, they think they know how to manage the bigger snakes until they get one they got it from somebody else and they're like, oh yeah, I got a 13-foot retic, I'm good. And then they get it and then they're like, oh, wait a second, this snake has got a crazy food response, or this snake was abused, or it hates people, or it's afraid of us and stuff like that. And that's the part where I typically come in and really encourage the people that were watching my channel to, send me, just like in this video I put out today, send me a video of your handling experience. I want to see from the time you open the door, I want to see what the snake's doing. I want to see what you're doing. And it, every time I've done that, it's helped. So that's, and I don't know where I could go from that. I mean, I could sit here and talk about this for the next 3 hours. But.
I could sit here and listen to it.
Right.
So
I can listen to Nikki talking about it because she's passionate about her snakes.
Do you?
I love them babies.
So Tim, do you do a lot of rescue or I mean, obviously the animals you have at your house are
some I do. I don't have the space for a lot of them.
Right. Yeah.
But see, I'm kind of an oddball in the reptile community as far as the YouTube people go, because I don't breed anything. I don't do any breeding at all.
Right.
Every animal that I've got practically and I'd have to really sit here and think about which one was which. But most of them came to me because they needed a home.
Okay.
You know, either somebody's saying, hey, somebody's getting rid of the snake. They need somebody that knows how to take care of it. Or, you know, Aubrey's right down the road from me. If he's got an animal that's just like the Sri Lankan that I've got back here that a lot of you guys may have seen the series on. You know, this snake hates the world. He's terrified of people. I want to send him someplace that can actually work with him, you know. So it's stuff like that I take in. So I don't really take him in because of necessarily species or morphs or anything like that. It's like what I get's what I get.
Right. Ocelots. I if he ever have an ocelot that's bad behaving, I will make all exceptions and I will make sure that we bring that animal, and I will even let that animal strike at me multiple times if necessary.
Oh, you would just drool your way all the way through Aubrey's place, man. Every time I go over there, it's just look at that. Look at that.
It's the most beautiful animal. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, the Jagpondro back here. Yeah. I mean, I went, that one ended up, that Jagpondro actually belonged to a lady that she was really wealthy. She had a really unique taste in reptiles, got a bunch of unique stuff. And then she had taken ill and she had to find a good home for her snakes. Well, she's friends with Dax from D&T out in Texas.
Yeah.
So he's the one that she entrusted with all the animals.
Okay.
So then Dax kind of went down the line of the people that he trusts to, you know, take care of them and stuff. So he sent some of them out here to Aubrey. Aubrey found, you know, like Cody from CNA Exotics. A really nice. I think that's where he got it from. Was a Boland's that was out there, and I got the Jagpondro back here. And my jaw hit the floor when you pulled the lid off that tub. I was just like,
yeah.
Gorgeous snake. She's got the jag issues, got the jag neurology.
Okay.
But matter of fact, she's right there cruising around. I'll go get her out.
Here, let's see you.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about with the jag and the retic is similar to the spider and the boa python.
Okay.
Oh, just nippy right off the bat.
The gene is so beautiful. The jaguar retic is so beautiful, like the spider.
Okay.
Jesus, turn your mic down a little bit. You're a little loud, bud.
What?
Your mic's loud. Turn it down a little bit.
But it is down. What are you talking about?
Yeah, when I was like 12, I got
it down on your
a Burmese
computer,
python, and she was like the tamest thing. She never bit like one time. She ended up getting 14 foot. But yeah, so like you said, Nicole, they're so chill, the big snakes.
So sweet.
They just get a bad rap. That's it.
Right.
Whoa.
Look at that thing.
Hang on.
Well, look at that.
She's running.
Oh yeah,
she's running.
All kinds of friggin' energy here the last couple of days, man.
That's a carpet.
That is a jaguar carpet green tree python hybrid.
Oh, so it's a hybrid. Okay.
Nice.
And it's not the hybrid that is, you know, that causes the issues with her. It's the
jag.
It's the jag. And she's actually a really great example of what neurological issues will do. Because like her muscle tone and her control is what's off. When she gets freaked out, when she gets spooked, you know how snakes will foam over, you know?
Yeah.
Across your arm, they feel the hair, they jump. Well, she then overcorrects and all of that stuff. So that's kind of the wobbly part of it. And she's got a really low muscle tone in the back part of her body. You know, she's
right.
I mean,
she's pretty thick though. Yeah, she's definitely healthy.
Yeah.
See, that's like the spider. The spider eats.
Yeah,
there she goes.
Yeah, there she.
When she gets excited, she just flops around all over the place because she doesn't have the muscle tone to really control it the way she should.
So,
is
that what happens?
Turned upside down.
So is that what happens when you mix two species together?
No,
like that?
No, it's the
that's the jag
gene.
Yeah, it's a jaguar gene in the carpet.
Okay.
It's like spider in the ball python world.
Oh, okay. So in carpet they have the jungle gene.
But She doesn't seem to have that green tree python attitude, though.
Well, my green tree python doesn't have the green tree python.
I was getting ready to say.
Okay, because I know almost everybody that's got one. They're like, oh man, they just they pull out their little stick and they're like, here it is.
Yeah. I think where they get their bad reputation from is people try and handle green trees and emerald tree boas the same way you handle every other snake.
And
they're different. You've got to handle them different. Otherwise, they'll get you. So
that's an amazing snake.
Definitely.
She is.
Hey, Bosa.
Bosa Ambassador. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming out. Josh, thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. I know Sarah's got to be out there lurking in the building somewhere, unless you took over tonight, Josh.
She's showing you her good side.
Yeah, she's just chilling.
She was posing. She was posing for the camera there.
Yeah, it takes her a couple minutes sometimes to chill out, but.
What a beautiful snake.
You're going to put her back, let her chill.
I can't believe that it don't have any greens in it from coming from a green tree hybrid.
Right.
Like there's no greens in it whatsoever. Like that's pretty wild.
She's got all carpet python characteristics. You really can't see anything that's green tree in her.
Yeah, I couldn't tell much difference from a regular carpet. I mean, maybe she's a little more beefier than them, but
the colors are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ryan, thanks
what
for
up,
coming
Ryan?
out, brother?
What's up, Ryan?
Blake Ayers.
No Kurt. Where's Kurt tonight? Ryan must have him stuck on that video game.
Yeah,
oh no, wait, it's Thursday. He's working.
Tame down boa constrictors. I think all baby boa constrictors and baby ball pythons. Even my baby retics came out sweet. You saw it, like they didn't come out bitey babies, which I do believe that is the reason why. I think that's hereditary too. I think if the mom and dad is chill, the babies are chill.
Huh.
I watch as their babies grow up, the snakes that take the mom's personality and the snakes that takes the dad's personality. I document at what point do I see them kind of like going into their own, like at what age and what size. And it's crazy because even in that same clutch,
oh wow,
I have some animals who don't even look like they were born in the same clutch because they were so much bigger. Fat, exactly the same schedule. Look like different snakes, and they way more advanced than the other ones. And it's not genetic. Like it's like it doesn't matter which genetic makeup it was. It just seems that they grow at their own different paces. But
that specific egg.
Right, exactly. That specific egg grew at its own, mentally and physically at its own pace.
They're individuals, for sure. They're
very individual. There go my buddy.
Yeah.
This is the one who made me knew that DMX was possible.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is an Aru green tree, and no problems, no attitude at all.
And will sit there like the entire time.
I was gonna say, that's just chilling.
Yeah,
not striking at Tim's face. Not, how sometimes Tim they hold that head, waiting for something to happen.
He's exploring. He's checking it out.
Yeah, he's chilling. But you can always tell with them, it's a big difference in their eyes too. Their eyes look totally different when they're in that I'm about to strike, and the tongue flicks just like any other snake.
The only thing that's kind of weird about this guy is he likes to, of course, crawl up on top of my head. And he's got this thing that he'll do where he will push his head down. And I can feel his top teeth poking me in the top of the head. Because, for his size,
the teeth are big.
So you're telling me he's a zombie snake. He's going for your brains then.
Right. He's going to give me the brains.
He's going to be highly freaking disappointed because...
too much hair.
The less of a friggin' meal they are.
This brain I've been through the military. This is all you're gonna have left of me.
Right.
It's funny.
Tim said he's only getting the leftovers, huh?
Yeah. I told Ruth, I was like, you ain't getting my best years, honey. That's like it's all downhill from here.
The good old military. You go in, they chew you up, and then spit
Spit
you
you
back out.
That's a gorgeous snake, but it's pretty cool that he's able to come out too and just chill.
Yeah, he's a good
Yeah, like I said, most people that have them won't.
Yeah, they're all in a tank.
I don't. Yeah, nobody wants to handle it. Not. I guess it's just me. I'm the type of person like. If I'm buying it for a pet, I want to be picking them up. Even if I don't buy it for a pet, I still want to pick it up. Like
Exactly.
Right?
even if I'm not supposed to pick it up, I want to pick it up. That's
Right.
just
It could be a
you know,
dinosaur
that's
and I
just the
still
way
wanna
I
play
am,
with
you
it.
know, like
But
you
I
know,
don't know.
Rob
You-
put out a
Consider
video.
if that's the
Rob,
best pet for you, because I tell people all the time, like using the retics for example. This is not a ball python. My retics is going to want attention. When you come home from work, they come into the door. They are used to that
so
attention.
nuts.
And if you're not a person who wants to give it that much attention, then you shouldn't get it. Same thing for those chondros. I like to handle, that's why I only have one. I say that all the time. I think the green trees are amazing, but I could never have 10 of them because I want to handle them. I'm okay with not handling DMX that much, but all my other animals are handled a lot, and retics necessarily, a lot. And so if people, when they thinking about animals, you got to think about your personality. If you have the personality where you don't want to be bothered, or you come off from work and you want to take a shower and go to bed, large constrictors are not for you. They're going to get restless at night, screw up some stuff, bust out some glass, some more stuff.
They're strong animals. People don't realize how strong they are.
Yeah.
That's how strong they are. And I allow my animals to wear themselves out for that reason. I don't want them to ever be in the enclosures and feel like I want out. I want them to be in the enclosures like, dang, I'm tired. Leave me alone.
leave me the hell alone.
I'm
Let me
going
curl
to
up in my
bed.
corner.
Right.
Don't touch me.
I mean, even people with ball pythons that put them in a fish tank. I mean, there's nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's just me personally. But they think they can put the screen top on it,
right,
and they think it's going to stay in there, and then they got a rock on it, and then they got a book on it, and then it's like it's still getting out. And I'm like, well, all it takes is for them to get their pointed their nose in that lip, and they keep going, and
they'll push and push.
They're
till
strong. They're I mean, back when I was like 23, 22, 23, I had big, berms and big boas, and
right.
I had one get loose in the wall. He found a hole and boom, he went in the wall.
What?
Well, it's concrete building. What do I do? Right? What do I do? I start busting out concrete. Well, 3 months later, the business downstairs comes up and says, "Hey, man, we got a snake on our bathroom. You want to come get him?" Because they knew I had snakes. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll come get him." So I go downstairs, and I'm like, as soon as I open up the bathroom door, I'm like,
"What are you doing?"
Right.
That looks like. Do I say that looks like the one that got loose, or do I just keep my mouth shut? So I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's one that got loose of mine, but it's the only one that ever got out. But man, let me tell you, from that being in the wall for that couple months, that thing was like fire. Just wouldn't stop. Like if you would have put your hand down, your leg, it would have just grabbed you anywhere it wanted. But it was pretty much because it was hungry.
Yeah,
right. I still picked it up, still took it upstairs, put it back in its enclosure, waited a few days, fed it, and he was good. But they find a hole, and the ball pythons see that in the tank, and everybody's like, "Oh, look, they're active." Well, they're only active because they see that spot across the room that they want to get to. They see that dark spot over there. They want to go over there and hide.
Right.
They see the heat,
and they are active too, but they're.
That reminds
like
me
you
of,
said, I've seen your videos, Nicole, and I could tell. Like they come to the front, like,
yeah, they as soon as
hello, somebody want to pay attention over here.
What
let
you all
me
doing?
out.
Oh, mama.
Yeah,
that reminds me of when one of my snakes got loose in the house.
Monitors are the same way. They're very, very intelligent. They watch things you do, and they pick up on the things you do and the movements you make. They're very smart as well.
Intelligent. They are excessively intelligent and beyond like their ability to hear things just far away is crazy to me. Like I know when my husband was coming, I was telling somebody this on TikTok live. I know when my husband is about to come home because my monitor hears his engine. He has a Challenger and it has that Hemi engine.
Yep.
He go just like this, and he would stay just like that to the window until he hear the key at the door. Then he turns to the door, and then he rests like, okay, he's in the house.
That's
Watching
crazy.
him, so that's why I have cameras on everything too, because I also like to document what happens when I'm not around. Like the stuff, like my monitor late at night is hilarious. He be having a whole thing going on. Like I'm thinking he's chill, right? At night on camera, he hopping from one side to the other, knocking this over, jumping in the water, swimming up, coming down, jumping in the water. So, like he's having a good time. But during the day when I go, and I'm like, good morning, it was like he just been like, Lord. I'm like, I watched you on camera. I know you not.
And Niles is the exact opposite of that. He's got his bedtime. Oh yeah, it's like 8 o'clock. He gets in his tub and he goes to sleep, and he wakes up about 7 o'clock. Almost, you can almost set your watch by it. He's just anytime you go down there after that time.
That's funny.
Hey, look at this guy.
So cool.
Look at this guy.
Look at this guy coming in late as usual.
So that's another thing.
Justin?
The monitor Niles. Tim got Niles, and I can remember when Niles used to be. When Tim used to do videos, I used to watch praying, and Tim didn't get body slammed by the damn thing. Niles used to be off the chain, but Tim had the patience. And like watching Niles now, and that was only 3 years ago. Watching Niles now, it's not even like it's the same lizard.
You know, I was really proud of him the other day because I was building some other stuff in his enclosure, and he's got this thing where he's got to taste everything. He's got to bite everything. Like if I go in there with my drill, when I first go in there with it, he's got to bite it. The water hose, the pieces of wood that I was putting in there, he's got to bite it. He got a hold of my finger, and he realized what it was and stopped and let go immediately and just sat back and looked at me.
Wow,
that's awesome.
I was like, I was like, okay, man, we're good.
And now, which to me, I think now monitors are way you can get them to be a certain place, but I'm saying if you take an Asian water monitor and a Nile water monitor, I'm taking the Asian water monitor all day.
Yeah.
Over the Nile. I think the Nile is like the ghetto monitor in mindset, like it's the G, and where Asian water monitors are more like, I want to be a puppy dog. Let me be a puppy dog. Yeah, a little bit.
Want to be one,
right?
Little brother Lou.
It's kind of funny, Nicole.
Out, buddy.
This past weekend, I just picked me up a peach throat monitor.
Missy and
yep, a little baby too. He's probably like about this big. And it's
the one you showed us,
etc. And it already like will come up on me, and I won't like force myself to it. I'll kind of like when it's going back and forth at the window, I'll open the door and it'll just crawl up on me and like want to check me out, and then go back in and stuff. So I just kind of been like,
you want.
letting
You
it
want short handlings. You want them if it's coming on to you and it goes back. That's exactly what you want because you want him because he's setting the tone. He's like, this is all I need right now. Okay, enough of you. Go back. Because when you start to go in there and pulling them and stuff like that, it makes the relationship harder because again they're highly intelligent. They know what they want.
And you can see them gears running. You can see them gears running.
One of the biggest mistakes people make with monitors is trying to overhandle them because everybody want to be Kevin McCurry. Everybody want to be the monitor whisperer. Right? But like again, as me and Tim can talk about retakes, Kevin to monitors, I think he is a monitor. I think he was a monitor in his other so his skill set with that is totally different because of his experience. I think Kevin can see like he does. They come out the egg and he can tell you exactly how this monitor gonna be.
Yep.
Where everybody don't have this skill set. And you need years and years of experiences and different type of monitors and stuff around you to be able to determine those personalities at an earlier age. But one of the things that I learned early with monitors was that put them in a place where it's not too much activity. Don't let the dog and everything else be walking. Anything that's going to make it skittish. Right. So when we first got our monitor, we put him in a closed bathroom. That's what his first enclosure was in a bathroom where he couldn't see nobody but me coming in and out that door or my husband coming in and out that door. He never saw the dog. And we can remember when we first moved him into the big enclosure, it was the first time he ever saw the dog. But I think he didn't react because he always knew the dog was there.
Right.
Oh, he heard him.
Yeah, but I'm bigger now. So if this dog do want to come, I'm not standing. You know, it was really weird. I was like, oh my God, there's Rocco. And he just kind of looked and kept on walking. I was like, he always knew he was there because the dog has to come past that bathroom to go outside. So even though he wasn't seeing them, he knew that, okay, I hear this sound about this time every morning. I know that is a big sound, and I know that thing goes about its business and come back. I think that's important too. That not only do we treat when we raising these animals up, or we train it, or trying to work with these animals, that they're not just conscious of us as a threat. That other animals we keep can also be a natural threat to them in nature, and that they can sense that. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got mine on my eye. It's in a stackable, like, what is it, like a 4x3x3 or 4? It's big PVC, big old enclosure, pretty much with sliding doors. And I got them all set up, all the branches and everything. And I actually just ordered some stuff to do them like a little waterfall over in the corner and stuff, so you can kind of go over there in the waterfall and etc. But
cool.
And it ate eggs, scrambled eggs, and it ate some crickets, and I gave it a little, because I breed my own ASF, so I went in there and gave it like a little tiniest newborn pinky, and it right down immediately, took it down. Been great. It's kind of cool. It's really cool to watch all the gears running and everything. Definitely a new experience, something different than the bearded dragons, the crested geckos, and then of course the ball pythons, you know. So it's definitely something different and really cool to watch.
I think if I ever get a monitor, I'm probably gonna get one of those the dragon sail ones, the black ones that look like mini Godzillas.
Are you talking about a sail fin, or are you talking about a black dragon?
The black dragon.
Oh, what up, Jay?
I want one of those mini Godzilla looking things.
I can't believe Tim still has that green tree out, just chilling.
It's just chilling. It's been chilling behind him the whole time.
He's always been that way. He would sit on Tim's head, do a whole live.
That's just awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, when people are like, oh no, they can't be handled, I'm not a fan of that. It can't be handled scenario. It may take time, but you just gotta.
They say they can't be handled because probably had a bad experience with it.
Well, I mean, I would say that initially, I was talking about DMX. Like, it was difficult. You had to handle him, right, in order to make him better. But it was difficult to handle him. He was never like, I used to talk to Tim all the time, like, why is my green tree not doing that?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was your first green trees.
Yes.
And I remember you saying something about, I'm not there yet. We ain't.
Yep.
We ain't there yet.
You gotta get the rubber hand on the end of a hook, on the end of a snake hook. So you're. Well, I do notice Kevin does a lot of that with his
venomous.
You know, touching them and getting them used to that touch, and then once they kind of. And again, you know, Kevin's been doing it a long time, so he can read their body language. He knows when and when not to touch them. You know,
as an animal, I think. I don't say. I say this respectfully, and I say this personally to him. I think that some of us, maybe in another life, were animals, and in this life, we communicate so well with them because we were animals. I think that Kevin was an animal in the wild. And then he came back to us as a human being who loves animals. Because he animals that I've never seen to date. Even people who's been keeping, like Brian Barchek, rest in peace, we love you. Jay, all of them people who's been keeping them as long cannot do the things that Kevin, and not just with snakes, y'all. So if y'all have never been to Nerd, Kevin has everything there, like everything.
Did you see when we had him on? He was pulling out stuff left and right.
No, I totally missed it.
Oh, you gotta rewatch it. It was like
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I've been in Atlanta. I bet you.
He was
fabulous.
pulling out mangroves and all.
He was pulling everything.
The albino mangrove, the only one in the world. He was pulling out.
Oh, so
snake that moves.
Just
the snake that croaks.
Like it's mooing and croaks.
Freaking yeah!
I mean, he was pulling out that fire. Literally, he can literally just pick up. I mean, a king cobra right there in my face. It's like, there's a king cobra. I'm all the way over here with that one. Hi.
I'm out.
You know?
I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah, that was insane with Kevin.
But I will tell you this. He's also good with, like, when I send him videos of like Larry and stuff like that, he say all the time, I was so happy to ship that animal to you. You know, I got a really good discount on that lizard. I didn't pay, which y'all saw on the website. Right. But he wanted it to have it was a special because that was the first clutch of that particular T positive that he had produced. And he wanted, you know, me to have one.
And to go to someone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I paid good money for it, but not what y'all think I would have had to pay. And so I make sure he sees that animal all the time, and he always makes me feel so good because he can read the happiness of Larry through the picture. He'd be like, "You're doing a great job." I'm like, "This is just a picture in a video, Kevin." I beat him when we get off this. No, I'm just joking.
But he knows his animals. I mean, Steve from area Reptile IM, Steve brung him on.
Yeah.
And then Billy jumped in, and Billy had just had his surgery like 10 hours before that. Nobody was anticipating.
Not even see
but
that.
It was Kevin was pulling out some stuff, man. I was just like, wow. And Billy's like,
Billy was squirming in his seat.
He's like, wait a minute, because he's got to take the 50-foot walk through that door to take another 100-foot walk to the other building to get the next animal. He'll be right back. He goes, that's why he's so fit.
Yep. The other building, when you go to the first building too, the other building is where he has his oldest retic. So where he has it's a 23 foot retic, golden child in there.
Wow.
Dang.
So it's like, it's just so much there between birds and alligators. It's more than what we even see. So he's a true animal. Well, we all are animal lovers. They're animals. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was there, Kevin put an emerald retriever in my hand without me even like getting a chance to say, "Oh no, I don't want to hold it." He just set it in my hand, and I'm holding this snake like this. I think it's a video. It might be on my channel and on it. And I'm holding it like this, and that's what made me wanted the green tree, Tim. Was the fact that, okay, if I can hold an emerald tree boy and not get bit, I know that it's possible to have a green tree. But I wasn't getting no emerald tree. That was out. That was out.
Well, hey, you know, I was going to point out Rob Christian, you know, the guy who used to be up in Jordan.
Yeah.
He lives an hour away from me now.
Nice.
He put out a video the other day of just going out in the woods because Rob's a herper.
Yeah,
I don't care if there's 3 trees in a group someplace, he's gone. Where'd Rob go? He's herping. And he put out a video the other day of just going up to a wild water snake, scratching at its chin. Just walked right up to it, slid right up there, just started rubbing his chin.
Come on now.
Oh, wow. And it wasn't like it was really cold either. So, you know, I mean, it was like 65, 70 degrees or something like that out, I think, when he did it.
But Rob is really good with, that was his thing at Nerd. He was really good with handling the venomous. Even the venomous tarantulas, he's really good with spiders and everything. Like, I just think certain people just have that thing to communicate with the animal, regardless of what kind of animal it is.
I mean, we're all energies. If you could just, you know, feel that certain energy, I mean, I see it's possible because I believe in energies.
You think about dogs, they know, you know, certain dogs can pick up people's energy of how they're afraid of them. And if they know that you're afraid of them, they already have control of you.
Or they can pick up bad people and you don't even know it's a bad person. So I always say that about my Riley. Right. If he barks at somebody, something wrong with that person. Because he don't bark at people. You got something on you, something ain't right, something ain't right.
You better empty your pockets right now before you come in my house.
Something ain't right.
Listen, my dogs are friendly, and if you come in there and they think something's wrong, there's something wrong.
Exactly. Something's not right.
Especially Ben. All you got to do is if he's barking at you, you know there's an issue.
I got a big fat English bulldog. He's a big old meathead, is what he is.
Oh yeah. All he wants to do is just scratch his chin. Please scratch my chin.
Did we ever figure out how many USR
Tipping Scales? What's up, dude?
Does anybody in the chat know off the top of your head how many current members of USR? Tipping Scales might know. Tipping Scales in the chat.
I'm looking. I'm seeing if I can find it.
Thank you for coming out, Tipping Scales. Appreciate it.
Yeah, John's
good people, man. If you guys ain't following John, then get on Tipping Scales, man. He does some good stuff.
Let me turn them blue.
I watch all his stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, that's one of the channels I like too.
Ryan's family's got big old
very
cats
good
and
channel.
shit. That's why he said that there, Stan. Because
What's
Ryan's
that?
family, I said Ryan's family's got big old cats and stuff. I think like name the type of cats you got over there, Ryan. He's got crazy, big, wild cats. Humongous
Wildcats or Maine Coons?
No, not Maine Coons. Like I want to say like Bengals or Panthers or something crazy that. Yeah, like Ryan's family deals with a lot of exotic animals. Like that's one thing I can say about Little Feedings is his whole family is exotic animal. We got monkeys, name it down the list. They got it. You know, that's how they are. Yeah. Very experienced kid. Very experienced. Well, I say kid, he's younger than me, but he's a guy, but he knows his shit. He's actually the one helping me out with my monitor stuff too, because he's got a bunch of monitors. So he's kind of one that's kind of like, give me a little separate process. Hey, do this, do that, do this. But I did find out that the peach throat runs a lower temperature than the other monitors. A lot of other ones, like he runs his at like 130. My peach throat runs at like 95.
Okay.
So 100.
My water monitor ambience 85. His spasm spot is 135. I can tell you though, where I find he only goes under his 135 after he eats. Normally he's more traveling in that 85 to 95 gradient.
Okay. And that's what I was reading with the peach throat.
That's only to digest his food, probably. No,
yeah. Or if I notice on days like maybe if even though it's warm in his enclosure all the time, if there's a shift in the air outside, he can pick that up or something because he'll be like sometimes at night you might see him under there even if he didn't eat. But I would say that it's rare that you see him under that 135 for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
So where did you say it was in the U.S. Arc again?
It's right. See, I'm not in it. Like if you go, normally it's when you go into like your page, right? It's a page that's like members or memberships or like it has like a what you call it, like a breakdown of memberships, where the money goes. Like it's detailed. It's like a whole form in there. I can't remember which screen is on. I can find it when I get off of here because I can see it all the time. But it's like where they have even a breakdown of where their money goes. Like so, people say they don't know where the money go. If you go into that form, you can see where the money went for 2022 and 2023.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Actually, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
I'm
that was a big
Boza didn't find it.
But what are they doing with the money? Like they don't have no money. Look at the statements. Like I don't mean to say it like that, but trust me, the little coins that we help them with, it's not enough.
Yeah, you start looking at how much they got to pay for lawyers, and lobbyists, and that shit.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And you're all over the place. Like Phil said today in the IG live, so far this year. So what are we in? March, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he spent, I think he said 50 or 55 days total so far in motels.
I believe it.
Between going to Louisiana and going to Florida, now he's obviously driving to Tenley because he's doing the Tenley show.
Well, that's just hotels. Imagine what flights if he's not driving, like rental cars, all that shit is expensive. Like it's not a cheap fiasco for what they're dealing with. It's not at all, you know. I've dealt with attorneys just on a personal level, so God knows what they're dealing with, you know. It's pretty much all I can say.
A 15-minute phone call, $150.
Exactly.
Clouded leopards, bobcats, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, clouded leopards and bobcats. Ryan's family's like they do some exotic stuff over there. It's really cool. He was showing me some pictures and stuff. I was like, wow, man, that's amazing. For him to grow up and deal with all that stuff and where he's at now this day, like he's guy's got some knowledge to him for sure. Blows my mind for sure.
So I've been looking for how many members. I can't find it.
I'll find
Tim,
it.
what would you say, Tim, would be a good way to bring more education to local communities? Because we're not all, obviously, we don't all live next to one another. So, I mean, if, me or somebody in chat or, anybody that's going to watch it now or later, maybe they'll say, hey, let me give it a whirl and try it out. What would be your advice to somebody that's trying to educate some of the local community?
Well, I've put out a couple videos on that too.
Okay.
So going to the channel of not only of the events that we've done, we did one at a museum out here in North Carolina. We've done some parks and stuff like that. And I actually just kind of stumbled into everything because I was kind of flying solo. Rob and Jeremy came down here and they started a Carolina Herp Society that was North and South Carolina. Not too long before I started doing this stuff. So I went down. There's a science center out here with a park behind it that's got a ton of traffic. Always people walking, always people out there. It's just a huge population of people out there. So I called the park director and told her that, you know what, I'd like to take one of my big snakes out there, cordon off an area off in the grass where I can just sit out there with a 16-foot reticulated python roped off, and anybody that wants to come out and see it can come up, talk to it, or talk about it, and handle it. And it just so happens that the park director there used to be a herpetologist for a museum or something like that. And she's like, man, right on. Well, guess what?
Nice.
There's another, she says, there's another organization putting on an event. We're got like a festival or something like that. And she's like, well, why don't you just, here's their number, call them and see if they want to include you and all that stuff. And I was like, well, if it's going to get that big, I'm going to start not just being an intrepid thing. I want to bring everybody in. So that's what we got. Jeremy, I think Jeremy was out there. Maybe not. He's on and off sometimes because of his schedule. But Aubrey Pruitt was out there bringing some awesome monitor lizards. Chris Salisbury from Gorgon's Head, Jim and Christina Hill. Were great people. We all collaborated and just all brought animals out and set up. And people loved it. And then I ended up approaching a park about maybe doing something. And he's like, well, that's kind of weird. But you know what? We've got a summer park or a summer camp going on out here. How would you like to bring them out to that? So we ended up bringing some stuff out to this summer camp for the kids. And then I get a message from a museum saying, hey, man, the park director over here said it was really cool what you guys did. We got Reptile Week. You want to jump in and help? So it all just snowballed, and we build these relationships with these different people. And it all just started for me thinking, maybe I'll go take a snake down to the park.
We all got to do that. And if we all do that and all open a door here and there. Now, everyone's not going to open a door, but this person might, and that person might, and this person here might. If we all just keep going, like it's something community wide that has to be done.
But it can't be all. It can't be all.
No, it can't be all.
We have to make sure that when we're presenting these animals, we are doing it just like Tim just said, in the proper way, shape, and form. Yes. Because my biggest fear is the one day, because what I see is like, if I've seen it, I've said it to, on my podcast to people before. I've seen what you did, and you took those, but you had 15 kids standing around a reticulated python that you didn't raise up. I don't agree with that, because if that one moment that animal goes crazy. See, Tim, you can do it. You're the expert. This is a person who's owning a retic for the first time. Wow. And you owning a large retic, and the first thing you want to do, you haven't had it for 4 or 5 months, and you want to take it to some educational show, you just still get educated about the animal. Yeah, that to me is where we have to have people, because I'm gonna say something. You're right. I'm gonna say something. No, you're not that person yet. Okay, you'll get there, but you're not that person, and that's not the right animal.
Well, ain't nothing gonna hurt our hobby worse than a retic.
Right, that's my point. So even in this house, when I take animals out, I pick the animals who are my best, the ones that you would have to like try to chop it with an axe or something for it to act up. Okay. I don't take the ones that had like the cow. You never saw me take this cow out on an educational. You know why? I just told you she's a bumper. She will bump you. I don't want her bumping some child. Now, she can bump me, and I still say, girl, come on, I don't care. And it means nothing to me. But to somebody else's child she don't know, that bump could turn into something else. And that is my concern. So I think that, yes, I agree, Ken. We have to do it. But what we are also, the downfall of social media is that I see so many people who purchase these large constrictors who don't know enough about them, who try to be educational because they see Tim doing it, they see Nicole doing it, they see Aubrey doing it, and no, like I'm looking at the video and I'm cringing. That shouldn't be the case, because if you want to dive into that, do it with adults first.
Yeah.
We will never forget what happens to our children. If your snake bite me, I will get over it.
Right.
But if it bites my grandchild, we're never going to forget it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We really, that's one of the things that I go into a lot of detail with when I'm talking with the people is like when I'm talking with park directors and stuff like that. There's a couple important things that we can do to both make it a really positive experience no matter what, and to make sure everybody's safe. And one of those is that I only bring in people that I trust, that I know are expert handlers. And, you know, I mean, that's just like you say, people like Aubrey, people like Cody, Jim and Christina with the stuff that they bring in, Chris, Jeremy, of course. And, you know, and we all have a basic understanding of how we do it. And that does a couple things. Everybody brings a couple different species of animal. So instead of just having one big snake out there, now we got a 20-foot snake, a 200-pound Aldabra tortoise. We got a whole bunch of local stuff. We got some colubrids over here, you know, and anything else that we decide to bring out. So, you know, these people get to see if you get 5 people, bring in 3 different species out. And it's like a little zoo walk for everybody. Right. And they absolutely love it. And it's really important to brief the people that you're getting ready to work with. One, on the fact that you can't guarantee exactly what animals will be there. Because, you know, you may have a snake going to shed or something like that by the day, and they're in blue, and you're not going to want them out there.
Right.
Right. You got to let, you know, so maybe that 20-foot snake's not going to be there. We're going to have an 18-foot snake there. But you've still got the whole variety of other animals, so the show's not a bust. And then I'm very specific about briefing the staff, the chauffeur, or whoever it is that's with the kids, especially with the summer camps. And I just really express to these guys, say, okay, we've got some great animals here. They're really friendly. They've got really big teeth and they'll hurt you. And about the time I get to that point, everybody's ears perk up and everybody that's putting that thing on turns and looks at it. And I'm like, guys, we've got to make sure that we're controlling the kids, make sure that we're briefing everybody, and don't just run up and grab a snake's head. You don't approach the handler until you've made eye contact with the handler and they know you're walking up. And, you know, we make sure that everybody knows that, you know, if you get some kid that's got some discipline problems and they want to be a little shithead, get them out of here.
This is not the place.
You know,
that's not the place for him.
First time, I like my snakes more than I like anybody's child. I get some kid come up and smack my snake in the head.
That's right. If it's a choice between my snake and your snake.
But I mean, but the thing is that, you know, you get, you know, once you establish those guidelines and all that stuff, and everybody knows what's going on, man, it is the coolest thing ever.
It is.
Really cool.
And like I said, you guys can go on and see the one we did at the museum that I really love, man. One at the park, I got this little audio clip of this. There's like 4 or 5 kids on Cody's 20-foot retic. And, you know, there's just this little 4 or 5-year-old kid, Grandma, I'm petting a snake. Grandma, I'm petting a snake. And the parents that are out there, man, it's just a lot of the parents have that ingrained fear. Mm-hmm. And they see it and they're like, whoa, what the hell? And their kid just runs right up. And, you know, so they get up and they see their kids just petting a snake. And,
kids are fearless.
Yeah. And then parents start to feel dumb. Like, maybe I shouldn't be this scared. But the really cool thing about it is, and this is one thing where it really ties into U.S. ARC and the legislation, is because, like, when the museum out here, it's a fairly new museum. They're really tight with the city council and stuff like that. I told her specifically, I was like, you're friends with the mayor, you're friends with the city council. I encourage you to invite them all out here so that they can see this. And you never know when at one of these events, you know, you may have a congressman, a senator, something like that coming out. One of your local or state representatives or something like that. And these people might be 100% on board in voting for a ban until they walk up and they get their hands on a 20-foot snake that is perfectly tamed, it's perfectly quiet, and they see the love that we have for the animals right up front firsthand. When it comes time to vote on that ban, that's going to be the first thing that they think about. They're going to be like, wait, I don't want to take this away from this guy. I don't want to take this away from this kid. So encouraging people like that out too is just freaking amazing.
And that's a good point, Tim, because one of the things that I try to do, I'm so close to DC. So in the summertime and in the spring, I always take my snakes. When y'all see them outside, we're normally down at National Harbor. And the reason why that we go to National Harbor is because that's where a lot of your politicians hang out with their families. And so Michael, my son, everybody knows, is an intellectually delayed adult. Michael was raised with snakes, and I truly believe that my son felt accepted by the world because of the snakes. Because, you know, when you're intellectually delayed, you don't really have a lot of friends. It's hard to make friends because they don't understand you. But his ability
it's like being a vet.
It's like communicating, seeing people see him communicate with these animals. So he's he's a member of the DDA. And so they actually requested that Michael begin to do reptile shows for the Department of Disability, which is huge for us in this area, because they are tied directly to the government. You know, they are funded by the government. And so it gives us the opportunity to show, which I truly believe, and I did this with my niece. So my niece got her very first retic in Burmese python in 2018. She had a child who was born with some delays. And I said their child was having problems in school. Don't try with the retic or burn, but give him a ball python first. So she got the ball python. It totally changed the child's personality. Then the child graduated to growing up with the burn. And one day they took that berm to school, and all the kids in that class literally just focused on that snake. And the teacher had never seen anything like that before. Like, these are hyper, otherwise children.
Crazy kids.
Yeah, who can't really sit down because of their, delays and stuff like that. And those opportunities done right is exactly what Tim said. That's what we need to do. It's not all about even getting people to touch the snake. Like, even with ball pythons, I have 2 customers where they, from one of my little presentations, they bought a ball python for their children. The parents who was afraid now owns that snake and bought another ball python for the child because they took over the snake. So you had the opportunity in every role that we have in this, whether you are a breeder, if you're a keeper. Look, I sound like your intro, Tim. You're a keeper. But if you're a lover of these animals, every engagement we have with people who are fearful of them, our main goal is to educate them to the extent that they want to be educated. Like, I don't believe putting a snake on somebody who don't want a snake on them. I don't believe that. Right. But if that person wants to get close, let them get close. I have some retics that literally, I'll say to people, you can get very close to them. They would actually not even react to you being close, But I think that for us as educators, and for me, it's something I had to even think about too, because like Tim knows, like I'm big on that, showing that I can handle my animals without a hook. But when I'm educating, I use the hook. So what I'll say is, I don't technically need this for this animal based on the relationship we have, but this is how you should handle yours, right? And that's something that I think I didn't do at first that I felt like was important because of the fact that somebody will go out here and buy a 16-foot snake. Everybody won't go out here and buy that 2-month-old, 4-month-old. Somebody will go here and buy a 16-foot snake and go and try to touch that 16-foot snake without a hook that they don't know, and literally end up in surgery because that snake just put those teeth into their arm.
They won't do that again. That's right. For sure.
But in the mindset, right? I don't want that on the news because it's the snake's fault. It's always the snake's fault.
Right.
Dumb stuff. But I do think we all have to think about every single day, like Ken said, if it's a way that we can get into a school, if it's a way that we can get even to churches, I'm telling you, that's a great place because that's what made me start doing that Sunday thing, breaking down the Bible for people when it comes to snakes, like knocking down that fear. because there's so many scriptures in the Bible that tells people exactly what they think of an animal is not true. God loves snakes. He presented them as his warriors. He's presented them as his knowledgeable. He said they were the most shrewd animals that he had. You know what I mean? That
serpent,
you had to be
right?
able to think like one to survive. You know,
the serpent, right?
He didn't make the serpent mean. The devil made the serpent mean. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, so that's where everybody
that's the best way to put it. Just like
that's where everybody misconstrues all. Because my mom was like, will preach to you all damn day, you know. And when I got into snakes, that was the first thing she said. Like I looked at her, I was like, "Mom, am I doing wrong?" She's like, "No." She's like, "It's not the serpent's fault that it's presented that way. That serpent is perfectly fine, you know. Like don't look at it that way, you know." And it blew my mind because I was like,
everybody has a stereotype about owning
evil,
snakes.
because you look at all the movies and everything as they put out the serpent to be as an evil, bad perspective, and it's not what it is, you know.
Right. I think of just like we think of ourselves. This is what I tell a real Christian. If you read it, it says that the serpent took the devil took the serpent's body, just like that's how we are possessed. That's how we do devilish stuff, you know. It's not godly when I want to punch somebody in the throat stand. That's not godly. It is the devil taking over us, and that's the same thing, the possession of it. But I also say the devil uses the most beautiful things to do evil. He chose a snake because the snake was reverenced in that Bible, and so we need to break that apart. So educating on every single level that we possibly can, because it all comes back to the legislation. I can care less what people think about my snakes, honestly, if it didn't affect legislation. Like if, regardless of what you thought, couldn't change anything for me in my household, I wouldn't care. It'd be just me and my snakes in here and having a good old happy time. I barely come out in public anyway. But because it is everything that people do, especially some people who have these large platforms to do it, and it's not a good thing. Like Tim, you can recall probably about 2 years ago, I don't normally comment when people do things, right? But it was a video on YouTube where it was a couple and they had these, they was horribly handling these retics, like horribly, y'all, like horribly.
Oh, you talking about, I made the video about that tarantula girl and the guy was necking them retics out of them nasty ass enclosures.
Yes. And then they kept being defensive about it. That was the only time I ever think I actually said something to somebody. Yeah. And that was because even how they was taking the snakes out the enclosure was bad. Kurt. It was bad.
Just like, you know, if one hand, man, pull them out of the enclosure and necking them, strangling the shit out of them all there. Yeah.
It was horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them since. I don't know. Maybe they went away, but I don't normally get to. One of the things I don't like about the communities, and not just the retic community, but the community as a whole, the reptile community, is how we come at each other. You're never going to see me be a part of trying to demise anybody. I don't care if you deserve to be demised. I'm a person who truly believe that don't mess with nobody's money, because you'll create a whole nother kind of monster. The monster you was dealing with was one monster. You would create a whole nother kind of monster, right? Yep. I do think there should be some awareness. Like, for example, you know, the Samson situation. For me, I don't want to keep that man from being able to feed his animals, but I do want people to not to buy, know that you probably don't want to buy from. I'm not trying to make a decision for you, but if his animals, he's, kept like that, but I can do that on my own.
But true or false, isn't he still vending?
Yeah, well,
true. From what I hear,
if the government doesn't stop, so that's another thing. If he is not being stopped from doing what he's going to do, that's my whole point. He's still going to do it. So why try to demise that? What I can demise is that I won't be in the show, and that's one thing I ask. Who's vending the show? When I vend the show, I want to see who on the list. Not just him, it's other breeders who I don't want to be in the same room with. That's one of the things I ask. But when it comes to him particularly, because I own one of his animals who is amazing. My dwarf is from Samson Pruitt. That animal is gorgeous. That animal is extremely healthy. That animal is probably one of the coolest animals I own, right? But that was the experience I had with that. Knowing what I know now, I don't want nobody else to buy from him. But that's something I would do personally. I'm not going to do a whole smear campaign. If someone comes to me and say, hey, who you buy your retics from? I got it from this one, I got it from that one, don't get it from this one. And this is why I have a healthy animal from them, though. But don't get it from this one. And that's the best that we can do. I don't believe in trying to. First of all, I think some people do it for their own ego and for their own personal gain. And I'm not about that. I'm going to make my money. I'm going to sell retics without stepping on somebody else. I have my own community, my own following. And most people do. Our report is going to sell retics regardless because he has his own people and, you know, me over here trying to save up coins to get one of them. So he got his people. If people still goes to buy from a person that they know all this stuff about, that's their personal relationship and choice. Who are you to come between that?
Yep.
Because it has to be personal. Because I can tell you right now, people have attacked Kevin McCurley. I will still tell you that is my go-to person if I want a golden child cow retic or a lizard of any kind. It's nothing you're going to be able to say to me to make me think anything otherwise. I've been to that facility. I know how it is. Now, I do also understand as a person who keeps multiple animals. Right now, every animal in here is completely clean. Tim, if you come here at 2:00 in the morning, I don't know what the hell one of them done.
Right.
And it may look like I didn't take care of them. But when I went to bed, it was clean. Now, what you won't see is any sick animals unaddressed. You know what I'm saying? So it is two different lanes, you know, but I don't want nobody to sit here and think that you can ever go into anybody's facility and unless they just clean before you came there, that every enclosure you open is going to be clean. And when I say retics, I can guarantee you that if I come down here 2:00, 1:00 in the morning, a week after feeding, you're going to see some shit on the glass and everything.
Right.
Because that's just what they do. It doesn't mean I'm a bad keeper. And I might not always want to clean it right away. If it's 4:00 in the morning, you might want to wait to 6, sir, since you decided to do this time of the day. Okay.
Or when you just clean the tub or the tank or whatnot, and they poop again.
And they poop again.
I just
Niles, that's what he does.
Because they don't want to clean. They don't want to clean.
I'll drain it, I'll hose it down, and as soon as I get 3 inches of water in it, his ass explodes.
Bloop, right.
And we gotta turn a valve, flush that down. Try it again.
Yeah. And I bring that up because that's another part of education.
Rinse and repeat.
We have a lot of podcasts out there right now, but some of them have become just podcasts that bash other people. I don't want any parts of that. I don't want no parts of that. That's not ever what we need to be doing, because what it does, it shows division. And what happens is when things do happen, like with the retic world, for example, when something happens with a retic, those people who think that we shouldn't keep them really go off. And they're people in the reptile community. So what do that look like to legislators? That the people in the reptile community saying
can't
that
even
people
get
in
along.
the reptile community shouldn't keep big snakes.
Right. Right.
Well, I think also to an extent, though, there should be some within the community, there should be some self-regulation of, hey, you know, this is not how you.
Well, Tim said it earlier.
With Samson,
You could lead a horse. You could lead a horse to water, Jesus, but you can't make them drink it. So I mean,
well, yeah, I get that.
Days, and I don't agree with you doing this or agree.
Well, not in the sense of like trying to, not in the sense of trying to preach them to like do what you do, but be like, hey man, you know, you're having a bad, you're a bad rep to the whole reptile community.
You mean more like you mean more like police in the community, more or less, you know?
Yeah, police in the community.
Educate the ones you see they're doing wrong. Don't rip them down. Try to educate them.
The part of that gets sticky is that you have people who have influence, who can, I mean, and you know, Samson is totally different. We let's throw him off the table when we talk about this conversation. But there's people who have influence, who can say negative things about great people. And I mean, there's a person out there in the community who talks horribly about one of my favorite people I just mentioned and that me and Tim mentioned. And we know that this man is the cream of the crop in the retic community. If there was not enough of us who knew better, they could literally destroy that man's reputation. And they tried, including his wife. And see, me?
Oh, that's messed up, yeah.
When you start messing with my family, it's not even about snakes anymore. Now let's talk other things. Let's talk pew-pews and some more stuff, because you're now messing with my family.
Right.
So my whole thing is you don't put nobody in a situation where they need to survive and they can't survive. If you
always got to leave everybody a way out.
Yes.
You back somebody into a corner and they've got no way out, you just forced them to fight.
You forced
right.
You just forced the situation worse.
Exactly.
It's like one of them things. If somebody comes out, they pull a knife and then they punch you in the face, you walk over to the door and you open it up and say, "This is your last chance to walk out of here."
Right.
And that's kind of the mindset you got to have, is you always give people an out where they can feel like they're maintaining their self-respect and stuff like that, or else they're just going to get completely nasty.
Yep.
Not really great at that all the time because I can be a dick.
Yeah, some of it is envious. Some of it's just envious. People wanting to be other people. Like people wanting to have the reputation that other people have. That's
jealousy.
not what I got into the social media for. I just want people to enjoy their animals. You know what I'm saying? Take care of them. I want retics to not be shown as monsters. That's one word I don't like people to use. You can call them giants, but please don't call them monsters because they're not monsters. I don't live with monsters. I do think also it's important as we talk about educating that what Tim said earlier, and I'm saying this as a woman, and I'm not even talking about the color part because the color part is secondary because I'm powerful in my own. My color has no bearings on my entire life. I was never a person who was restricted because I was black. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being a woman. If I was a weak woman, I wouldn't own retakes because men in the community do not respect women in big snakes like they should. Tim, you was one of the few. Aubrey always wanted to, always, even as a breeder, gives me so much praise and respect and support on the back end.
Aubrey's an awesome human being all the way around.
He is. And don't say nothing bad about him. I don't care who you are because you're going to get me to go off. If you
get him,
I'm just saying, there's so many women that I've met in this community who keep large snakes that's not even on social media and keep them on levels that you can't imagine, who will not come to the forefront like I want them to because they've been treated a certain kind of way in the community. And I feel like, and I want everybody to hear this, we're missing out. People look at women in legislation differently. So I walk into a meeting with a 18-foot snake around me, looks different than Tim. Ooh, they can't be that big. The little 5'3" little girl is well, I know little girl, but you know what I mean. But the 5'3" man is holding this 18-foot snake. She is touching this snake's tongue. She's communicating with this snake. They can't be that big. Opposed to Tim or one of you guys walking in there, it's just what men do. You know what I'm saying? So we are missing on the opportunity to show a soft side of these animals with women because women are hiding.
I'll tell you what, man. One of the best handlers I know is Kagan Andrew. Reptiles and Roses, Kagan. Her and I have pulled 16, 18-foot snakes off ourselves, off each other, off other people. That girl can get in there and stroke with a damn snake.
But Kagan is even herself, like I'm just, and honestly, I wish she was out in a different way, but she's just coming out. I think Kagan by herself, I would love to see. I would love to see on a daily basis. I would love for her to present, like even the one show that y'all did, and she talked about her experience working for Samson. You know, that was an amazing show. And this was a woman who was managing a facility, y'all. Like, so again, respect to any woman who's doing this, and they're doing it behind closed doors. I only got familiar with Kagan through other people. I wouldn't even have known that Kagan existed until all of the Samson stuff came up. And that's a disadvantage to the community because I agree with you. She is definitely one of the best keepers of those animals. And genetically, she's very knowledgeable as well. Yeah. And one of the things you hear me say all the time from a breeding aspect, there's not enough information on these animals from a breeding aspect. We need all faces of keeping present and not be intimidated by the gatekeepers of our communities.
Nicole,
it's getting there, man. I think it's getting a lot better.
You can be the reason why I moved out of Florida because Alex wants a retic so damn bad because of
you. Leave. I'm telling everybody. So Tim, I agree, and I said this to Jake. So in the last year, even the one place I hated to even visit was the Retic Nation, but the group has done so much better making that more of a positive atmosphere. And in that,
Dax don't put up with that shit.
People share.
Dax don't care who you are. You start throwing drama around a group, you can kick rocks.
Oh yeah. Dax don't play.
Yeah.
But look, in Dax's defense, he gave us a disclaimer when he started the group how I was going to go there.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, even with them, the first time I met Dax was at a NARBC. I had no idea he knew who I was. And he came to me and shook my hand. And he's like, what you doing with those animals are amazing. And he told me about his woman. And he was like, you remind me of her. Like, she is the one who really handles these animals. It's not me. Like, she's the one who's pulling them off of eggs. It's not me, you know. And I didn't even know that Taylor exists. I didn't know Taylor exists until I met Dax.
Mm-hmm. And they're great. I finally got a chance to meet them. They came out and spent the weekend at Aubrey's place, which, man, I went and spent the weekend at Aubrey's place. And Dax and Tay are just great folks.
They are. They are. Definitely.
Really,
so,
really
just like having more people out there like that, you know, people who are willing to help. I definitely think that across the board and
oh, come back.
No.
Where'd she go?
Don't leave us. Come back.
Where did Nikki go?
Yeah, anybody that's looking to get a retake, man, Dax is the guy to talk to. He knows his shit. Awesome. He's got.
We could have him.
Well, maybe someday they'll relax on the law here in Florida and let us have them again.
We could. I'd already have probably 5.
I doubt that.
Yeah.
I doubt that.
Justin's gonna need a whole another building.
Dude, I'm trying to get everybody in the reptile community out here to North Carolina. We got Rob and Jeremy now. They're trying to talk Dax to coming out here. I don't know if we're going to be successful or not, but see, if we get all the reptile keepers out here, then we can get them all elected to office. And that way we know there's no jackass going to pass any reptile bans here. So it'll be like a reptile utopia.
You got the plan going.
And I like the way you think about that too, Tim, because I was just watching, it's like a show earlier I was watching about, accidents that happen. So there was a dam, I think it was in Tennessee, that collapsed, and the government didn't want to give them the funds to repair the dam, even though it was to one of their major lakes. Mm-hmm. So these two guys that wanted to help the community needed to raise like $42 million. So the way that they got around it and to get funded money from the government was that's what they did. They got everybody in the community and they ran for office and they got office and they wind up filing and getting the government funded money to fix the dam.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But pretty much what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, if you want to get things changed, sometimes you got to change the people that are there.
Well, I mean, that's
what we're doing. That's what some people are up here in Wisconsin are doing, not related to reptiles, but to the other subject that I'm always on about.
Yeah.
And some people that I know are right now acting as mayors of their cities or running for mayor or governor.
That's what we, the people in the Constitution, means.
Yeah.
The only one who was moving
making our own damn laws.
I thought you were about to say they had a bunch of country boys go out there with some beavers and build a dam.
Oh no! They got a legit dam now with like hydraulic rams, so it can lower and let the water out. Because what it was actual metal pistons, and the pistons were in the concrete, and from the water just moving that back and forth over time. They never thought that piston would give out, but that's what happened. The piston gave out, and the center of the wall just collapsed.
Damn. I'm gonna answer Judge's remark here real quick. He's talking about making tegus legal in North Carolina without permits. You might consider moving there. Couple cool things about the tegu restrictions here in North Carolina. It's only the Argentine black and white tegus, and the authorizing body out here has been real easy to work with. So they're really good about it. It's like $10 a year. You go online.
Why only the black and white though?
I'm not sure, but I'm not going to argue.
They claim that but they have the ability to live in those temperatures, and the other ones don't. A tegu to me is a tegu. I do get that Argentine lives in a different climate than a sky panther, but a tegu is a tegu.
It's supposed to only be this small sliver of North Carolina on the coast where they're supposed to be able to live naturally. But there's people that have tried breeding tegus out here in North Carolina outside, and they've never been successful. So,
yeah, because tegus like a lot of heat and humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So how hot? What's the hottest temperature you're getting up there in North Carolina?
I don't know, man. If you add the humidity, it's like 250.
They have their hot days. It just gets too cold there.
It'll roll.
I'm
It'll
in
roll
Florida,
up
so it
close
gets
to
pretty hot here.
110 occasionally. You might see something close to that on a really crazy day. You might see a couple weeks here and there, up around 100 or something like that. Most of the time you're in high 90s and stuff like that in the summertime. But there's enough humidity to make it uncomfortable. And of course, in the wintertime too. I mean, you will get freezes sometimes. We'll get snow.
Right.
Okay, right.
Are you northern North Carolina?
I'm central, kind of like right in the middle of the state.
Right in the middle. Okay.
Are you like Raleigh area?
Yeah, close to there. I'm like an hour from Raleigh. So.
Okay.
Being in Florida, though, my bearded dragons stay outside all year long. Like literally through the winter, they go in brumation. They're fine out there during brumation. They come out. Like, literally, just came out probably about 5 weeks ago and doing their thing now. But it's really cool to see the whole different. Like I have one that stays inside, and I have two that stay outside, and you can see the two difference in the both of them.
Really?
Which one's reacting better, which one's acclimating better, and the ones outside are loving it way more than the one inside. Just the one inside just spoiled. He's a little fat boy. He's just spoiled.
Hey, you leave Cheeto alone.
With tegus and my water monitors, even though people would say they don't need UVB and stuff like that, I will tell you they love natural light. Even if it's cold outside, my tegus will come in the house and lay by the patio door to get that sun.
Yeah. Yep. Well, see, the monitor I got, that's my plan with the monitor guy. I'm gonna build him a big old outside enclosure, get a pond inside of it, put some fish in the pond, and let him kind of do his thing to where he can go in the pond and kind of climb and kind of run it from there and just see how he goes. It's my first experience with it, so it's going to be a learning curve 100% throughout the whole thing with it. I'm going to hit obstacles, I'm sure, and I'm not going to hit obstacles. Just do my research and just keep going with it day by day as I can, pretty much.
And then, research and also documenting your own research because, like I said, I do things with the lizards and the large snakes that people say I'll never be able to do, and I do them consistently. Even the saying they can't hear. If I'm sitting in this room, I don't know if y'all ever watch me live on TikTok. I can be sitting in this room and tap my feet, and you'll see a big retic just all of a sudden appear behind me.
Nice.
It found me. And so, can all of them do the same thing? No, but 6 of them will do that. I don't know what it is. If it's, I can't tell you because I'm not the snake, but I can tell you it's definitely something that they can hear because there's no way for them to. They probably can pick up the vibration, but how do they know it's me and not my husband? How do they know it's me and not my son? Like it's deeper than that to me. It's so deeper. We don't give these animals enough credit. But I can literally be sitting in this room and it freaks people out, and they'll hear me doing this, and all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, because it does take them some time to come up the steps, you'll see a big old retic sitting right behind me on his bike.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
But I tell
That's
people,
freaking awesome.
Hours doing that. I spend hours with them trying to get them to do things. Like when T'Challa was pregnant, they would say, "Oh, she'll never do this when she's pregnant." T'Challa, the day before she laid eggs, came out. There's a video on Instagram. Came out to me like she normally do. Came in at the kitchen while I was cooking. Stood all the way up, and then went back in her enclosure and laid eggs the next day.
Oh wow. That's really amazing. That's really amazing.
But the thing is, you do a lot more with your retics than most people do.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have you get that bond with the retics that you have. So not
every last one of them. I want a very personal bond with them. I think that's important. But I also see it in their eyes. Like I see the admiration in their eyes. Like. You can see them look at you like an appreciation of your presence. And I love that. I truly love that.
That's awesome.
One of the things that I've seen dealing with these ball pythons is you get them ones that are spicy, and then you work with them, and then you see the demeanor of the change in that snake when they realize you're not there to hurt them. And that's one of the better feelings that I've had doing this is like you see them respond to you in different ways the more you work with them.
And it's the same thing with the larger snakes. You work with them the same. It's the same thing. Like I think of when, like I said, I've taken, I bought boas that was very, very, and honestly, to me, boas are more intimidating than retics any day. I will say that over and over and over again. I never go in my boas enclosure without a hook. Never. I don't just never reach in there and just pull them out like I do the retics. Ever. You never seen it. You never will. And I think what it is with me with boas, their food response, where a retic you can train to turn it on and off, a boas is always on.
On, right.
Always on.
And let me ask you this: and like, does it go off when you pull them out the enclosure though? Once you tap them
and grab them, like even some of them, like, all right, if I don't use the hook, for example, I can put like on Keikos, I can put my hand on them, but what you don't see, like with my retics, like Stan would tell you how I open the door and I go straight there. Hey, it's me, and they come slow. I don't put my face to the boas. Their initial reaction is to strike for food all the time. So yes, you can put your hand on them, say, "Hey, I'm not food," whatever, and then take them out. They're fine when they're out. But I just find, I think it's because I spend more time with the retics than the boas, like out. You know what I mean? The boas are out, but not like the retics are. The retics are out every day at some point, unless they're in shed and don't want to be out. Whereas the boas, they're only out when I want to take them out, probably two or three times a week, where every day the retics are out and for hours. Like the golden child cow, we keep her out for like hours, and sometimes she don't go in the back of her enclosure until we go back. The snake loves to just be out. And we also learned that her temperatures, her temperatures are 74, 75. Every retic don't want 78, 79. So she likes her temperatures at 74. If you put her at 78, she's going to let you know she's coming out that enclosure. You're going to hear her on that door.
She said, "You turn this shit up way too high. Let me out here."
She does not like anything.
You got me sweating, girl.
Yeah, I was talking with Joe from Reach Out Reptiles not too long ago, and he was talking about how they're really starting to see the retics are requiring lower temperatures than what people are originally saying.
Yeah, like I've always kept their high spots at like 84, 82, 84. But as they got older and me observing them more, I don't even know, Tim, if that's the right high spot. I think 78 might be the high spot. I just haven't,
if you technically think about it though, like they're gonna be on the ground, like even in the marsh and stuff, they got weeds and stuff over them. They're not just basking in that sun. They're actually kind of in a very shaded and cool spot or whatever in the wild, It's not like it's not like they're sitting like in the desert on a rock saying, "Here, let me cook real quick." A lot of them, just like the monitor I learned, like I had like the basset spine, I was like, let me put a little leaf over the wood and let's see how much it liked it better. And having that shade over it, you can tell it could like bring its body halfway out into light or bring its body back in, etc. But you learn that like obviously not a lot of these animals are just going to go out there, like you said. You learn it's going to use a lower temperature. It's not like a lot of people always think that, hey, this animal's just going to go sit out there on a rock and just cook.
Right. Absolutely. And like you said, they all have different personalities and all of that. That's another thing, talking about enclosures. Where people think every retic got to be in these big enclosures. I have a motley tiger, which is one of my biggest females, who y'all hardly ever see out. You know why? I can take the glass off her door and she don't come out. She'll watch all the other retics pass her. She'll watch them all pass her. Wow. Now, if I go pull her out, she's out. But where every other retic I have, if you open the door, it's out time. She will sit there and watch them all. I will have her doors open. She'll just sit there and watch them. She will not come out. So that's the animal who do not want to be in a whole big enclosure. She doesn't. She likes her 8x3x3. This is good for me. I'm not moving much in here. This is how I operate. I appreciate that you got a house that I can roam, but lady, leave me alone. And you have the other ones who, like I said, I'm going to be out all day. It's a party until I'm tired. And so when people try to set these general standards of keeping on these animals, I can't even do it with the ones I keep. They all are different.
Right.
Yeah, there's times I'll have my 16-foot male outside, and he'll get tired. He'll go into his enclosure on his own.
By himself. Yep.
I shit you not. That snake, I'll tell you what, man. And that is such a success story with him, too, because I got him when he was about 12 feet long, a male reticulated python who was terrified of frickin' people. Within the first week I got him, he was on this side of the enclosure. I went in on this side of the enclosure. He literally, in a split second, made it to my hand and just barely missed. And then when I jumped back, he jumped out of the enclosure after me, coming at me. He hated me. He was freaking terrible. And after about a month or two, he chilled out. And literally last summer, I had him out in the backyard. And he does this thing every time I put him down. Probably 95% of the time, if I'll walk 50 feet away, he comes straight towards me. And we literally had one of the neighbors walk up into the yard last year when I had him out there. And he seen them, turned around, crawled up, got up on my shoulders, and sat there.
Wow. That's awesome. That's
like,
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Stranger danger. Who the hell's that?
Acted like a baby. He's like, I don't like this person.
Right.
Maybe that's me just reading more into it than it actually was. But kind of coincidental the way everything worked out, man.
That's pretty cool. It reminds me that story reminds me of I had a Colombian red tail years ago, and I bought it from a local pet store here, and I saw it in the ladies that were working there that day. They were like, "Oh, it's aggressive snake. It's always striking at us as we're walking by." And I'm just like, whatever. I was like, can I go in the back and open the lid and play with the snake? And they're like, yo, it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you. I'm like, just let me play with the damn snake, man. Like, I want it. I want to buy it. I want to grab it and pick it up.
He likes to play with snakes.
Stop.
Kid.
We are on Stan's channel.
It say pause.
Pause.
And so, like, they opened the lid and they backed away because they didn't want to get bit. And I stick my hand in the tank that it was in, and it crawled up my hand, went right around my neck, and it just chilled there with its head out, looking at everybody else, and everybody's like, "How'd you do that?" I was like,
I
was like, "I just want the snake." I was like, "I'll take it." And I was like, "Ring me up, please." So I took it home.
They're great.
That's
man.
cool.
There's nothing like a retic. Even
no Tenley, Nicole?
No.
I just don't know if I could do it.
I'm going to Dallas next month, and this week is my granddaughter's birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it fell on the wrong weekend.
I got somebody that says they'll carpool with me to Tenley.
Nice.
You're out your mind.
Well, I'm
long
stuck.
drive from Florida.
I have a really hard choice to do. Go to Tenley or go to my buddy's gun show.
Alex said, can we just get one retic nobody knows?
Go to your buddy's gun show. Go to Terry.
No, it's not happening.
Time management. Go to both.
Yeah, go to both.
Time management.
I like gun shows too.
That's hard because Tinley is 2 hours away.
You gotta watch out because not a lot of people know, but Nicole down there now, no, she ain't playing. She got that eagle eye now. You play around, but
well, if you ever need anything, let me know. I have the connections.
No,
he is legit too.
I love the art of weapons.
Oh, you see one right behind me on the door.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I literally just took one of mine off. I'm in the yard with one. I'm that person who ever want to be caught without one.
Hey, you never know.
You're like me. You have one in the bathroom. I have one in the kitchen.
Everywhere.
Yup.
Over here.
There's my
Alex
big boy
is
over there.
determined to have a super big snake. I want to know what we can have here in Florida that you would recommend, Nicole. She keeps asking, which I think we've asked you before, but she's determined.
Can y'all have carpets?
Her little 5-foot self wants a big old.
Yeah, we can have carpet.
Y'all can have carpets?
We can have carpets. We can have boa.
I mean, nothing compares to a retic.
Look at it. She just said, Damn it.
But a carpet is close to it. As far as like the ability to think, and it's, you know, it's big but not too big. But yeah, it's just nothing like a retic to me.
You just said no. I want a retic. I don't want any fucking thing else.
It's like, move, Adam, move.
Gotta at least have one.
And when you give your notice, make sure your congressman know that you moved because you needed to get a reticulated python. You relocated your entire life.
Right. She's upset. She watched a couple videos. Like, I think it was the main one where you like actually explain how like you walked in and the retic like picked itself up for you to pick it up.
I show that all the time. I like for people to see that. Me give them the hand, lift it, and let it come up on me. Like, I don't struggle. Like when people, I'm not struggling with these big snakes, you know. Like, but I raise mine up too. So I start teaching them that as babies. You know what I mean? Like, help me help you, because you are big. Even this little thing, you're going to be big. So I lift them up a certain kind of way. I let them come on me a certain kind of way. So she's talking about my oldest. Well, one of the older ones. He's the biggest though. Hefe. He's the dad of all the babies. Hefe communication with me is like my communication with my riding.
That's awesome.
That's animal will do anything I needed to do. It's an amazing being, and he's the biggest. And he's the one that intimidates everybody. I'm like, no, that's the one I would let anybody hold. You know,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I know Dog of War, but YouTube can go. Yeah.
Right, Dog of War. But no, she loves it. Every time she watched that video, she was like, she would repeatedly watch that video, and she's like, "Oh my god, I want one, please, please." I'm like, "No,
I knew he'd make his way up there.
No trouble for your ass.
I knew it.
That ain't happening.
What? Oh,
there he is.
Wait, have you had him there the whole time?
Gino's been chilling, bro.
Then that was my favorite head.
What?
Yeah, Gino's been chilling. And shout out to the Lady Tiz for the cap. Well, used to be Tiff's cap, but so now I rock it. I'll be rocking it. But Cole always likes to just head up on my head no matter what.
That's crazy.
Like he'll hang out right here, and then he slowly makes his way, and then up on the hat, and sometimes he'll just chill right here. He'll just sit right on the bill and hang out, and
his
tail hanging over.
Yeah. I haven't cared.
I just weighed him the other day. He's a big boy. He's 71 grams.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's a fat boy.
Nice.
Then are you taking care of yourself?
Yes, I am. Trust me, Justin there in the middle won't let, man.
Thank you, Justin.
Hell yeah.
Justin be riding me over there.
Stay on him.
I appreciate everybody though. I appreciate it, man. Listen, everybody that came together, amazing.
Wait. Did Tim just have a coffee cup shaped like a snake?
Oh,
yeah. Yo, hold on. Let me blow.
It's a rattler.
What?
That is so cool. Look at the tail, y'all.
Is that a tumbler? Is that a legit tumbler?
That is too
That's
funny,
a legit coffee cup right there, man.
Oh,
Tim,
heck yeah.
You might be a tad addicted to reptiles.
Come
A little, just a little.
I'm gonna really be happy if this damn camera would decide to focus. Damn it!
Just stop moving it for just a second, and it usually.
Okay, Tim. Where did you get that? Because I want one.
That is
might be
there
addicted to reptiles if.
It came off Amazon.
There it goes. Hold it back for. There you go.
Yeah, there it goes.
Right there.
You said Amazon has one of these?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. I'm on Amazon now.
Yeah, it's like a $40-50 freaking mug. But it weighs
I don't care.
pounds. And this is
the tail for me.
Right here.
There's something better than coffee in there, though, right?
Hey, Zeus has a problem.
Give you a sting of caffeine, huh?
Coffee, but
He said I'm not paying for my own damn. They're expensive too. More expensive than they ever been.
Alcohol.
Nah, actually, bullets have stayed relatively low.
Oh, they're expensive up here compared to when I was buying them years ago.
Where are you at, Nikki?
Maryland, well, Southern Maryland, the DC area.
Well, I can ship to you. They're not expensive. It's just
Okay.
what the issue is shops tend to overprice because they have to, they have their overhead. But no, I get free shipping on anything over 500.
So you go in the
freight.
websites, like
No, I go for my distributors.
Oh, we need it. Yeah, I'll go.
I'm connected with like 15 people, 15 companies nationwide. Yeah. Oh yeah, I run a lot of firearms, so.
He'll get you your pew pews for sure.
Your pew pews.
Right.
So
just the other day, I
we'll
saw.
go a couple more minutes, and then we'll cut it off at about 2 hours, and then go from there.
Right on. Snake mug. I want to find a
I
snake mug.
I appreciate everybody.
I found it. It's $36. What are you talking about, Tim? It's $36 for that coffee cup.
Still
I can get it here by tomorrow.
Chat. Heck yeah.
Well, you must be a Prime member if you're getting it by tomorrow.
I am.
You know he's a Prime member. Come on now, that was no question.
Gotta be a Prime member. You say you really
the Auckland God not being a Prime member. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So Tim, I thank you for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate all your time and explaining some good stuff to the people. And if you ever want to come on again, you're more than welcome to. You know, I definitely like to learn anything I can to teach the community more. I mean, I'm always a big thing here in Florida that it's okay to sell a ball python at Petco, PetSmart, and I have no problem with that. But they don't teach the local community that little Bobby is home by himself and decides to take it to the park. Well, Mr. FWC comes by, and now little Bobby loses his snake, and mom and dad get a ticket to go to court. That's the part that should be more educated here in Florida. And I don't. That's one of the things I just don't feel is fair to anybody in that way. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
If the store could sell it, they should at least say, "Hey, just so you know, before your son takes us to the park, you could possibly get in trouble because you don't have a Class 3 license."
But then again, they'll do a background check on you over buying a cat at the store.
Right.
And they want to have all these checks on you over a cat that you can go outside and catch 20 of them by the dumpster if you want to. But a snake they're going to give to you and let you have that valuable chance of losing the snake because you don't know and haven't been taught,
Because I know when we were at the Jacksonville show, I was standing next to the FWC table there for a second because somebody was talking to them, and they were like, "So what's the license for?" And they were like, "Well, you don't need it to own one, but if you want to take it outside and publicly display it, like take it to the park or something, you need it." So at the show, the FWC educates, but they don't. Most of the general public don't know. Like if you say something to somebody about a Class 3 license that has a reptile that isn't in, the bigger community, they just have that reptile as a pet. They have no clue that there's even a Class 3 license to take that thing outside their house and go display it out at the beach or at the park.
Well, I mean, that's a scary thing if you think about, if USARK wasn't around. How much of this legislation would have passed, and we would have no friggin' idea.
Exactly.
They're not going to announce it.
Yeah, because they slide that into 400 pages at 297th page, so nobody reads that far.
Yeah,
sneaks it in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how a lot of it squeaks in. Unfortunately,
that's why every Saturday on my live stream, man, that's the first thing I do is just go over. I go straight to the USARK website and go over the alerts.
So, Tim, can you just run down a schedule of what you're doing? Is because some things are more set now, right? Because
the only thing, I've got a day job since I don't breed or anything. I gotta feed the animals. Since my recording schedule was kind of up and down based on how busy I was, I decided that every Saturday night at 8:00 Eastern, I was going to be on live. So that's the opportunity for anybody to jump in if they got any questions, if they got anything at all. Do the USARK updates and stuff like that first. Managed to have Kevin on a couple weeks ago, and I'm typically just down there by myself because I really don't reach out to too many people because just I'm busy as shit. So that makes it a little rough sometimes. But I at least get on every Saturday night, whatever I've got going on, sick, healthy, doesn't matter. So, and then I'm really wanting to, and I've kind of started a little bit this week. I put out several videos in kind of close proximity to each other. And I like the format of just going on and trying to do like a short one. Like every day, every other day, or something like that. So if I can get enough questions, then maybe I can get myself into the routine of just doing like rapid fire stuff every day, do 5-10 minutes, get it out, and just keep that stuff going all the time. So it's a work in progress. But you know, it was in a discussion on Facebook the other day. And I said something about, you know, you can't change the world unless you believe you can change people's minds. Mm-hmm. Somebody wanted to be a wise ass and say, well, ain't nobody changing it by themselves, especially you. So I think I'm going to do it. Right? Tell me I can't do something.
Yeah, don't tell me I can't do nothing.
Yeah,
for real.
So I mean, I'm that much more motivated to try and get this thing built up so that it's got a constant feed of information, constantly reaching new people, constantly teaching people that our animals are safe. They're great to work with. You're not going to ban them because that's just not what we're about. And that's kind of the approach that I want to take, and trying really hard to even work on myself and my own positivity and stuff like that, because I can kind of knee jerk with assholes sometimes, and I get down to their level, which I don't like about myself. So
nobody's perfect, dude. You do an awesome job. No one's perfect.
Well, I was going to say, Tim, I think like you and Ed are probably the best at responding at some of the things that, like, especially some of the more complicated things. You know, I think that y'all take a very strategic and fair approach to responding, where sometimes I just got to be quiet because I'm so passionate and I just want to. The delivery is going to be all wrong. I know me. And it's just like, I think that it's important though that we continue to have these conversations, because first of all, it shows unity. Like, we all together. Tim typically wouldn't be sitting here with a bunch of breeders, you know. I'm the female on the panel again with a bunch of, you know, males, you know, that shows that unity. And maybe more women wouldn't be afraid to be verbal in these communities, because there are some amazing keepers. Like, there are some women that keep these animals that I swear I just want to go to their houses and record my daggone self and put the footage out. Like, it's crazy. And I'm talking about single women, you know, like no help, and just doing such an amazing job hand building enclosures. Okay.
Heck yeah. That's what's up.
That's
my kind of woman.
Yeah, when I was driving home from work today, I was just thinking about that as a video.
Yeah, they're like reptiles and pews. Hey, bring it.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting out a video just on the diversity to demonstrate the diversity in the reptile community.
Yeah.
You know, race, religion, orientation doesn't matter. Right. Everybody's here and everybody gets along. Right. And it's just getting better and better. I can't think of too many other communities out there where you've got so much diversity, so many different kinds of people. You know, where you got one guy over here in a suit and tie and another guy over here with 3-inch gauges in his ear.
Exactly.
You know, one guy with unicorn horns sticking out of the top of his head, and one guy, you know, coming out of. I mean, everybody's here.
Yep, it is so diverse.
Like even actors.
The day I realized we had it was a pilot. I was on IG, and the guy flew for Delta Airlines, and he was a black pilot. And he owned reptiles in Tennessee, and he's been keeping them since forever. So he was like, technically, I really could take snakes on the plane. He was cracking up. It was just funny when he said it. But he always loved reptiles, and he flies, and he actually goes to certain parts when he flies into certain parts of Thailand, where he has a relationship with, I don't know if you call it a national society, but you can go and see like reticulated pythons that you've never seen before.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
That's sweet.
Well, I know one of the guys I follow, he posted today. He was at a show this past weekend. I forget who it was, but Nicolas Cage is big into reptiles, and he has one of Nicolas Cage's old snakes, and Nicolas Cage went to the show and he said came right to his table and
Right.
wanted to know
Yeah, I
how the
saw that
snake was
picture
doing. And he's
online.
like, everything's doing good with it. So, I mean,
That's freaking awesome.
There's a lot of people in it. And if you look at the picture of Nicolas Cage, you wouldn't even know it's him because he's not like finely dressed up, or he's just got like a sport zip coat on and hair all going crazy direction and like.
I'd like to talk to
but
Nicolas Cage about that tiny ass enclosure he's got that monitor lizard in. He got entirely too much money for that enclosure.
Yeah, right.
Right.
See the
Right.
couple
with his money, it should have its own room.
They'd have a room.
That Black Dragon.
Whoever gave him that advice and built it for him gave him the wrong advice and the wrong.
Jay wouldn't do
build for
anything
him.
like that to a celebrity just for fucking attention. Now, come on.
Right. Right.
Well, I'm going to build you this big room, but I'm going to build you this little room, but it's still going to cost you $150,000.
Right. They ran him for the money and didn't give him what he really should have had.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
What's up, Casey?
Alice Cooper also has a lot of snakes too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, who was it? Alice Cooper just came up the other day. God, I can't remember who it was now. But they had some interaction with him and reptiles and all that stuff. So, that would be really cool if one of us could get tied up with Nick Cage or Alice Cooper. Or
Well, I've been trying to. Dwight Howard is a big keeper, but of reptiles. But he what was it? About a year ago, he was going to come on Reptiles and Cocktails. Then all this personal stuff happened with him.
who was that?
Dwight Howard, the basketball player.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he owns a lot of large constrictors, and he has really nice. He has custom enclosures made, like
He
really
played for everybody.
So he played for Orlando Magic for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's who drafted him.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember him when he played. That was a hell of a time when we had him on the team.
and retics and boas, but they are some amazing enclosures.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
that
what was
was
it?
funny.
Fred Taylor here had a bunch of I pressure washed his mom's house. First of all, his mom's house was all pink. She wanted pink everything. The house was pink, the furniture was pink, the whole damn place was pink. I pressure washed Fred Taylor's house, but they definitely were parrot people, which was really cool because I grew up with a lot of parrots. So when I pressure washed her house, I heard all of them, and I had asked the mom, and she's like, "Yeah, my son does this." What she was talking about, Fred Taylor at the time has a bunch of parrots. And I was like, "Wow, really? That's really cool to know that somebody else like that kind of big figure person was actually had a bunch of animals too." You know, like it's really intriguing when you hear other people like that. You know.
Nice.
Well, we're a little over 2 hours. Nicole, I thank you for coming out. And Tim, I thank you for coming out. Is there anything you'd like to say before we get out of here, Nicole, that you'd like to tell the people?
And yeah, definitely keep uniting, keep educating. And the biggest thing, like Tim said, stop tearing people down, build people up, work with them. And at the end of the day, for me, it's none of my business, as long as it's not affecting the as long as whatever you're doing with your animals is private. If you're doing the wrong things, then I'm fine. Other than that, as long as it doesn't impact what I'm able to keep, I really don't care. I'm minding my business. But I think it's important that we continue to unite, help each other. And to the women who are out there who do keep animals, this is the time to really, put your face in the forefront. I think that it definitely helps legislation when they see women keeping reptiles. Yeah. And we keep them great.
Yes, you do. Yes,
absolutely.
Do.
Absolutely.
Tim, is there anything you'd like to say before we roll out of here? Would you like to tell the people?
Man, Nicole hit the nail on the head. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get things set up. The only thing I could really add to that is it's so important to pay attention to what's true. It impacts every aspect of our life. If there's evidence for something, find it and stand on it. And don't let your opinions of something overrule your decency as a human being. Don't go at people because of your opinions and stuff like that. And if there's not evidence to back it up, that's kind of the thing that I've been hitting on so hard here lately, because I see so much misinformation out there all the way across the spectrum. We live in an information age where there's just, you can put anything you want to out there. and just so important, especially as reptile keepers who deal with living creatures, that we make sure that we're looking at the right information. Because, anyway, I'm not going to soapbox, but that's something I really wish everybody would really take into account.
Well said, Tim.
Yep,
definitely. Well, Tim, thank you very much. Nicole,
Thanks,
thank you. The
You're welcome.
R.W.O crew, thanks you guys. I thank everybody who came out in the chat tonight. Please, you guys can see it scrolling at the bottom. If you guys need shipping, you know who to hit up. Hit up Robin over at Redline because his shipping is top notch.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of shipping, everybody who I have your babies that I've been holding and feeding them and making them fat, they're being shipped to you on March 20th. That includes you too, Stan.
Thank you, Nicole.
Oh,
She's like, you getting it whether you like it or not. It's coming.
It's coming.
it's coming.
And anybody out there,
it's gonna be hard because I didn't bond it, but it's a big shipping. This is the largest shipping day I would have since I've been breeding. Like I've had shipping days where I'm shipping 1 or 2, like literally it's so many animals I just have to ship out on that day.
You coming to Daytona this year?
Oh, of course, definitely Daytona.
Well,
I had such a good time in Daytona, and it wasn't even. I probably spent like the entire time 2 or 4 hours in a reptile show.
Yeah,
Daytona
we know.
was my spot. That's my kind of living.
I seen the pictures on the beach. I seen the other pictures on the beach. I seen the pictures at the bar.
On the beach, I'd be damned if I wasn't gonna be on the beach in Florida.
Turn up.
You wasn't kidding when you said you
turn
was
up.
a water woman. When you said you love water, you wasn't lying.
I love water. Man, I was like, this is the life. I was like, woo! Daytona is my life.
I don't know if it's for sure.
Want to make sure everybody knew too that on the Saturday night live streams, if you guys have got anything to put out that you'd like to jump on and put out, just jump in there and let me know. I'm typically on there by myself, just bumping my gums and running my mouth. So, if you're on there and you got something you want to say, want to jump in a conversation or something, let me know. I'll send you a link.
Hey, Tim, real quick before we bounce out of here, throw your link up in the chat real fast. Anybody in the chat, if you're not subscribed to him or subscribed to Nicole, please head over to their YouTube channel and please subscribe to them.
You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not.
And it goes with the rest of us. Please subscribe to the rest of our channels. That would be much appreciated.
Right on.
And you
get them all. So
much handling education off of Tim's channel when it comes to defensive animals. If you go back even a year ago, it's a series Tim did on taking a snake from point A to Z. And I'm telling you, it's phenomenal because people get to see real life. Like, okay, yes, Tim was getting bit the first couple times, but it got better and better and better, and then here we go. And that's what most people keeping reptiles is going to have to understand. Every animal you get is not going to be puppy dog. You're going to have to tame down some, and it's doable. And I think that Tim does a great job showing how doable it is.
Right on. Yes, he does.
So anybody out there,
right what you said, Nikki,
if you're not a US ARC member, could you please head over and become one today, please? I don't know what you're doing if you're not. If you got one animal, one reptile,
what are you doing?
You should become a member because it's going to help you in the long run. And for $40 a year to be a bronze member, you probably spend more than that in 1 week at McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. So,
and let me just say this:
and you get a T-shirt.
As a person who has different level memberships, it don't make a difference if you have what your experience is, whether it's 40, whether it's the premium or not.
Yep.
The 40 is just fine. So just do the 40 if you want. Don't feel like you got to be a silver or a gold member. That's not what they need. They just need you as a person, as a member.
Yep.
Numbers is how we win, man.
The numbers count.
Strength in numbers. If
Phil
you want
goes up
something done,
goes up to Congress and he's
always
got 100
matter.
people behind him. They're gonna kick him out of the building. He's got 1 million people behind him. Every one of them going to listen to every word that man's got to say.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Just do it.
Vote matter at the end of the day. He'll vote.
Be like Nike and just do it.
Right?
There you
Eat
go.
ramen for one freaking day and get a USR.
There you go. Sacrifice.
Sandwich don't hurt.
Do the ramen.
Sandwich don't hurt. You don't have to go to the ramen now. You go to the ham and cheese.
So with that being,
tomato soup, a little tuna fish, something, you know.
hey, tuna fish is good now. Stop.
Heck yeah, I
So-
eat tuna on a daily. That's my go-to.
So with that being said, everybody, I appreciate everybody that came out tonight. It was
Love
an
you,
awesome
Stan.
show. Tim, Nicole, I love you too. I love you guys. R.W.O. You guys are my brothers. You know that. You guys will be always
For
rocking it with me.
life.
I'll be rocking it with
Definitely.
you.
And a great job.
everybody
on the
out there.
guys. Great job on the channel. Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
And
Thank you, Nicole.
everybody out there,
Appreciate
just
it.
remember, man, just be kind to each other. Don't beat each other down. Pick
be a
each
dick.
other up.
Yeah.
We all need it. I
Yeah.
needed it, and everybody was behind me when I needed to be picked up. So if you need somebody to talk to in the community, you're having a bad day, I can almost guarantee you could reach out to almost anybody in your group, in your chats, and they'd be more than willing to give out their phone number and talk to you. So if you ever need anybody, hey, I'm always available. Even if I'm at work,
Get the shirt off my
you
back.
can hit me up. I'll see it. I'll respond. So, and don't forget, Saturday nights, 8 o'clock, right, Tim? 8 o'clock
Yep.
Eastern time?
Yep.
8 o'clock Eastern time is Tim's show. And Lady Tiz is on Monday mornings,
Yep.
2 P's in a podcast with Morgan.
I'm always
That
trying
comes
to
on
catch
at 8
you when I'm
o'clock
on
in
my
the
way into
morning.
work.
So
Well,
if
this
you
is
guys
going to be a
can,
good one, y'all, because Morgan spent a week in Florida trying to find a Burmese python. And she even went in the Everglades. She went on a boat. She walked through the woods and everything, and she didn't find not one. She
Okay,
found a
so,
bunch of cases, though.
so I bet you she's going out during the day.
No, I think at one time they went at night, too.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
wow.
usually that's the best time to get them is at night.
Yep, at
Yeah,
night,
but she
at
was
night.
bringing it back. Just FYI.
Oh, yeah. Nicole, you know I was in. You know I was in chat Monday. You know I was in chat Monday. You know I was listening. Now I might have been working, but I had my earbud in.
Yeah, I always know you there. I appreciate all of y'all, especially everybody here. Like I said, I just as a woman in this hobby, like the men on this panel, definitely gives me that mad props and respect. I feel like one of the boys. Some
We
days,
got
you
your
know,
back, Nicole.
and I know.
Always.
All I gotta do is holler.
Holla.
You heard.
Birthday cake, birthday
You
cake.
heard.
I got scream. Birthday cake, birthday cake.
So with
He
that
coming.
being said, everybody have a good night, and we'll
night,
see you guys
y'all.
again next week on R.W.O show. And don't forget about Saturday night on Tim, Monday mornings with Nicole, 2 P's in a podcast. You got Ken up there on Tuesday nights with the Let Me Know show, and I'll be rocking it with him, along with Justin, Vince, you're my brother. Jesus, I love you. You're my brother too. And everybody out there, man, y'all have a good night. Stay
Love you guys.
blessed.
Good night,
Definitely.
y'all. Bye-bye.
Hey.